Of Americans are on the move or about to be. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. And U.S. Transportation Chief Pete Buttigieg does not expect a repeat of the travel nightmare a year ago.
So far this year, I don't want to jinx us, but so far, 2023 has seen the lowest cancellation rate in the last 5 years.
He says bad weather may still impact holiday travel, and he's reminding travelers they have the option to get a full refund instead of rebooking if a flight gets canceled. Just getting reports, Texas is being sued over a new law allowing migrants crossing the border illegally to be arrested and deported by the state. Critics say that's overreach. The Texas governor said the Biden administration has left the state to fend for itself when he signed an executive order yesterday. The first woman to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court is being remembered for how she blazed a trail for others to follow.
She was so successful that the barriers she broke down are almost unthinkable today. But not so in her lifetime. Sandra Day O'Connor had to study and launch a career in the law when most men in the established profession did not want women lawyers, let alone judges.
Chief Justice John Roberts at the National Cathedral in Washington for O'Connor's funeral says she also fought cancer and Alzheimer's in public ways that helped others. President Biden says O'Connor spent her lifetime pursuing equal justice under the law. New York becomes the second state to study slavery reparations. Governor Hochul signing a bill to set up a commission.
This allows a group of individuals to study the effects of slavery generations later on access to housing and the redlining and discrimination and education and healthcare outcomes. I think we can all acknowledge that there is disparity in opportunities and outcomes for black individuals and black families, and that's what they're going to be looking at.
But she says it's not about any particular resolution. America is listening to Fox News.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste. Because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's a chilly 45 degrees for the high today, but we've got a fair share of sunshine all afternoon. Till the sun goes down, the good news, the winds are light. Tonight, more and more clouds, 32. Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Warmer in the afternoon, 55 for the high. Clouds on Thursday, but still 55. Here comes the next batch of rain Thursday night and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hey, have you finished your holiday shopping yet?
No, I just cannot find anything for my sister-in-law. She's so picky, and I don't want to give her a gift card again.
Doesn't she have a big Euro trip planned for next year? What about getting her a subscription to Rosetta Stone? I got one a month ago, and I've learned so much already.
That's a great idea. Why did you pick Rosetta Stone?
The app has this great feature that tells me how well I'm speaking each word compared to native speakers. I've never gotten feedback like this from any other app before. Plus, it's fun and has tons of bonus content to teach you about the culture, so she can really feel ready for her trip.
That sounds perfect. Is the monthly subscription expensive?
They actually sell a lifetime subscription, so she'll get access to all 25 of their languages forever, and it's 50% off right now.
You are a genius. Thank you.
Of course. Visit rosettastone.com/radio. Don't forget the subscription is 50% off right now, so hurry and get that deal.
Hello, I am State Treasurer Vivek Malik. There is a program in my office that allows you to save for your loved one's education. The Most 529 program helps families save for K-12, college, trade or technical schools. Contributions to most 529 accounts grow tax-free and are eligible for a state tax deduction of up to $16,000. Celebrate this holiday season by giving to your child's education. Learn more at MissouriMost.org.
Sponsored by the Missouri State Treasurer's Office.
The T.R. Hughes Homes for the Holiday sale is going on now for the rest of the year with unbelievable savings. Hi, I'm Tom Hughes with T.R. Hughes Homes. We have several brand new completed T.R. Hughes homes that are ready now for immediate move-in. Some of these homes are already discounted between $30,000 and $50,000 off regular price, and each home will be discounted another $5,000 every week in December until they're gone. Wait a week or 2 or 3 for a lower price and take the chance someone else just bought your dream home. Wooded half-acre home sites in Arbor Valley and Winsville. A beautiful country setting in Riverdale, just 9 minutes from the St. Peter's Deerbergs, and Charlestown Landing in St. Charles City near Newtown. Don't miss this unbelievable chance to save tens of thousands of dollars on completed, move-in ready T.R. Hughes homes. This sale is over on December 31st. All of us at T.R. Hughes Homes would like to say thank you to the several thousand families that have trusted us to build your dream home over the last 30 years. From our family to yours, we would like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a safe and prosperous New Year.
Give the gift that's hard to wrap, but easy to give. Buy them a Stihl. Save $30 on the BG56 CE handheld blower. Go to StihlUSA.com/gift guide. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I mean, but the case, I kind of like Vivek. I think he's one of those people who, everyone beats up on Vivek for being, he's a phony and all this stuff. I don't know. I've covered a lot of campaigns going back to 1992, and I've noticed this thing in many candidates, and I notice it in him. The process of running for president and speaking 3 times a day and having people throw hostile questions in your face causes you to change. They all change during these campaigns, like for real, inside. And I feel like Vivek's positions have gotten much more sincere since the beginning of this. Like I watch him with Nikki Haley, and I'm like, this is a guy who's very offended by her views, like for real. He's not attacking her because she's a woman. He's attacking her because he actually thinks her views are terrible for the country he lives in. And I love that.
Mm-hmm. That is Tucker Carlson having a conversation about Vivek Ramaswamy. A lot of people think that comment was about who Donald Trump might pick for his vice presidential candidate, the person on the other side of the ticket. Now, I have jokingly said that I hope he chooses Byron Donalds because then the signs that you put in your yards will say Trump Donalds. And I think that's just very comedic and funny to me. And I like Byron Donalds a lot. So I'm like, why not? I put something out on Twitter last night because I've been talking about this in my innermost circles out loud. And I was like, the more I talked about it, the more I thought, oh my gosh, this could possibly happen. It just seems like in the crazy clown car world that we live in right now, how many times? It's 3 or 4 times a week, Brad, where news comes out and we should all go, oh, and we're like, well, of course.
Yeah. At least 3 or 4 times a week.
Bombshells. Everything's a flippin' bombshell these days.
But it is.
It is. But we become desensitized to the crazy because of the frequency of it. Here's my question. And I put this out there on Twitter at Annie Frey Show if you want to follow me there. Why would Donald Trump not pick RFK Jr. to be his vice president? Now, before you fall out of your chair and be like, Annie thinks RFK should be the VP. No, I do not. I think it would be a disastrous decision for Donald Trump as far as the actual process of what it means should they be elected, and then RFK Jr. is the vice president. He's a Democrat. He is a progressive Democrat. But I don't think that Donald Trump is thinking about the next 4 years in the terms of the next 4 decades or the next 4 generations. I think he's thinking about the next 4 years and what he needs to do to get over the hump to make sure that he does everything, leaves nothing on the field to win this election. I think RFK Jr. is the one person who he could put on the ticket that would expand the people who would vote for Donald Trump. I don't think that if you put Byron Donalds, who I'm joking about, it's not like you're going to now get the Florida vote. If you put Byron Donalds on there, you got the Florida vote. You're not going to put Ron DeSantis on there and expand your vote. You're not going to put Nikki Haley on there. I mean, some people suggest that maybe Nikki Haley would be a person that would bring people to the ticket. I think she is the closest second. And here's Tucker saying no.
Right. I would not only not vote for that ticket, I would advocate against it as strongly as I could.
Wow.
Yeah. That's just poison. I mean, here's someone who's actively opposed to the interests of the country I grew up in, who endorsed the BLM riots, and who is not only is not left, but is neoliberal in the darkest, most, speaking of nihilistic way, and has no real popular support. Is a creature of the oligarchs. So yeah, that would be reason to oppose the ticket.
Even Trump, Haley is a no-go.
Nikki Haley,
he would get assassinated immediately if that were the case.
Yeah, and by the way, I just can't imagine a world where that could happen. That would be so crazy. I mean, anything could happen, of course, but picking Nikki Haley, who's utterly treacherous and utterly dismissive of like the interests of Americans, yeah.
I don't personally buy into this hyperbolic hatred for Nikki Haley. I don't think she's the best pick for president. Brad, do you hear the criticisms? Because these criticisms about Nikki Haley, they all have a similar thread through them, that she's bought and paid for, that her interests aren't the American people, and that she would be working for those special interests and not the voters who sent her there.
Yeah, that's basically the biggest criticism of her. She's not conservative enough. She's more the way I would describe it, she returns the United States to a pre-Trump style of republicanism. I don't know how accurate that is. I think she's definitely more moderate than Donald Trump is.
Better than Biden? Better than Newsom? Better than Michelle Obama? Better than Kamala Harris?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, to quote one of our listeners, I would vote for toilet water before I would vote for Joe Biden or any of those people you just listed.
What an illustration.
But I can see where those that are in the Donald Trump hardcore base would look at him, or in the populist base would look at her and go, no, she's too establishment, and we need to get away from this and get more to a populist person.
A totally fair criticism in a primary. And you get to the general, snap out of it.
Well, like you look at, and I'm not a big, like, proponent of polls, but you look at the poll numbers, and Nikki Haley is a lot more in line with what the American public wants, at least according to the polls that have been out there, than any other candidate the Republicans have to offer. Yes, Trump beats Biden in some of these polls, but Nikki Haley crushes Biden in those same polls. So like you said, it's a fair criticism, but you know, at the end of the day, when you get to the general, you have to come together and you have to win, because what's going on now isn't sustainable. You can't do this. We won't be the United States as we remember it if we keep going with these policies.
Yeah, I will again reiterate, Trump, Haley, DeSantis, those are the three possible candidates, I think, and two of them are the far, far, far lower Plan B, Plan C. Happily support any of those without any conflicted sentiment in my heart or my head over the Democratic Party. No questions whatsoever. Now let's get back to the Democrat who I think Donald Trump could pick for his VP. RFK Jr., if you look at the polls, RFK Jr., at least the polls that I've seen, and you all know how much I love polls. I hate them. But when Donald Trump and Joe Biden are up against each other, Brad, Donald Trump trounces Joe Biden in all of the swing states.
Beats him. I wouldn't say. Well, I don't know. What do you consider trouncing?
Outside the
Outside
the margin.
Okay. So yeah, I'll give you that.
That's not really trouncing, but it's a definitive
Oh
victory
yeah,
at this
yeah,
point.
it's solid.
All of them. All
Yes.
7 swing states. And he doesn't need to win all of them.
Right.
Any one of those could be off, and you pull out the other ones, 5 of 7, and you're the president.
Yeah.
Definitively so. If you add in RFK Jr., Jill Stein, what's his face?
Joe Manchin, Cornel West.
Cornel West. No, not Joe Manchin. He has not
Liz
declared
Cheney.
yet. If you add those people in, Donald Trump's support goes down, but Joe Biden's support goes down more. Now, I heard when RFK Jr. announced his presidency, a lot of people who are very, very, very active in the Trump camp talk about how RFK Jr. would actually pull more support away from Donald Trump. I don't think that's the case. I said that then. I'll say this now. I don't think that RFK Jr.'s policies match up with people who support Trump. I don't know anybody right now who is saying that they would vote for Trump who would say, now that RFK Jr. is in the race, now I'm going to change my vote to him. Trump voters going to Trump vote. That's just kind of the way it is. That is rock solid, which is why I feel like the more people who are in the race, his base is solid. Joe Biden people are looking for an alternative. And if the Democrat Party doesn't connive a way to give them an alternative against the wishes of the incumbent president of the United States, their voters are going to, at some measurable percentage, seek out an alternative option. Those people aren't going to seek out Donald Trump. I do believe that there is a cross-section of people who support Trump and RFK Jr. that would then feel like, I'm not voting for Trump, but if RFK Jr. is on the ticket, I think I can get behind that. That they think that RFK Jr. would have the sway or the persuasion in some capacity that would allow them the alternative that they're looking for and searching for. And I think that at the peak of reasons why I think it would be a smart political choice and not at all what I would want the direction of this country to go in is because if you look at RFK Jr.'s positions on the vaccine, on COVID, on our freedoms and our liberty, it covers all of the wrongs that can be accused of Donald Trump and his previous administration. It is the biggest antidote to Donald Trump's vaccine, which he calls himself the father of that vaccine. And that has not yet been reconciled with people who are questioning what Donald Trump would do next. I firmly believe that if Donald Trump would have had a second term, that many of the restrictions that were put on Americans, many of the shutdowns that existed, I feel as though Donald Trump would have drastically taken in a different direction than Joe Biden. But he did not get the chance to do that because he did not win. There is, I think, an actual measurable percentage of vote that the Trump-Kennedy ticket would bring in, that a Trump, pick your favorite, Kristi Noem would be a great choice. I don't know how many people out there are lobbying for that position. But if you pick somebody out there right now who is, the conservative bona fides, like a Mike Pence, and you put them on that ticket, I don't know that more people are like, I feel better about this now, I'm going to vote for Trump. Those people are going to vote for Trump. They were going to show up to vote because they can't stand what's going on right now. They're going to show up to vote for Trump on Election Day. I think that RFK Jr. brings in people who wouldn't have voted for Donald Trump before that. Do I want that to happen? I absolutely do not want it to happen. I don't think that it is what is best for the future of the country, because if you look at the vice president, you're setting themselves up for the opportunity to run after Donald Trump, who will not be eligible to run for re-election after 2028. So you want that vice presidential candidate to be the person who gets to carry the ball, continue down the field. But I don't think that Donald Trump is concerned about that as much as he's concerned about this election right now. Am I crazy?
No. I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, my question is the RFK, I definitely think the RFK an RFK VP would pull more voters to Trump. I don't know if they pull voters away from Biden or if they just pull the I was going to stay home voters to Trump.
C.D. Stein on YouTube says not a chance. He would lose as much, if not more, votes having RFK as a running mate, especially the 2A community. Do you think the 2A community is going? Do you think they're going to stay home to keep Trump out of the White House to allow more Biden?
Trump is squishy on the Second Amendment. Joe Biden is hostile to the Second Amendment.
Well said.
So yeah, I'm part of the 2A community. I'm not staying home. I'm not giving the other side the opportunity to win this. I'm doing everything in my power to ensure that my side wins, even if my candidate isn't rock solid A++ on the Second Amendment. You give me a B- or even a C on the Second Amendment compared to Biden's I hate your right to bear arms, and I'll take it every day of the week.
Mm-hmm. Craig says Trump's VP pick could not matter less, will not change anyone's vote. Craig, I agree 90% with you, but I do think that an RFK Jr. vice presidential, bipartisan, yada, 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 bleh, a pick like that is that outside of the ordinary could sway people to vote for that ticket. Because I think that Trump, if this were not Trump, if this were somebody who didn't, if it were Ron DeSantis or if it were Nikki Haley or, Chris Christie or Vivek Ramaswamy, they would have the rest of the campaign season to advocate for why you should vote for them. Everybody already knows where they are on Donald Trump. I don't think, to Craig's point, that there are that many people out there that can be swayed by Donald Trump, which is why I think the VP candidate, and we're talking, if he can add 3% to the Trump ticket on the vote, that could win swing states or solidify swing states. It could be the deciding factor when you're talking about a 10,000 vote difference that decides the electoral votes from any of those particular swing states. I don't know. This is what I do, people. If you haven't understood this yet, now I'm going to just lay it out there for you. I think of the scariest things that could happen and I prepare myself. That's just what I'm doing. I'm not advocating for it. I feel like I'm wrong on things all the time, so let me speak it out into the existence of the world so that you guys can be like, Annie, you were so wrong about that. And I'll be like, thank God I was wrong about that. Whew. Man, I want to be wrong about Joe Biden not being the nominee in 2024 also, but I'm still pretty convinced about that as well. I'm not afraid to say it out loud in hopes that I am wrong. Maybe I'm wrong on this. Who knows? On the YouTube live chat poll today, what grade do you give 2023, the whole year? A, B/C, D, or F? You come and tell us what grade you give it. Some people was asking, are you talking about it in this regard or that regard? I don't care. Tell me in the comments why you gave it an A or an F, or how could it have been better? I want to hear from you. Continue to get to know you on the Annie Frey YouTube Live. We'll be back. I'm very excited. We played a little bit of Tucker Carlson down there because when we come back, Chadwick Moore is going to join us, and he is author of Tucker, which is the book that is all about Tucker Carlson that he started writing before Tucker Carlson got bounced from Fox News, and he's got a great story to tell. Let's talk to Chadwick Moore. We're going to watch him live on the YouTube stream as well in just a minute. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
STS-Armory.com. My friends at STS Armory in Pontoon Beach, Illinois, are a destination for people like you and people like me who want to make sure that we are strong in our Second Amendment defense. They are the go-to for me. I've got questions. They have answers. I have sent family members there who are having trouble with their CCL license or their FOID card because the state of Illinois can't get their act together. And they help usher you through. They know who to ask what questions to make sure that you are actually getting yourself on track to be compliant in an overburdening state as far as it is to exercise your Second Amendment rights. Now, if you're looking for a firearm, you can go there. They have wonderful prices. They're very upfront with their pricing, and they have accessories that go along with those firearms. I've got a sight, a really nice sight on my .22 pistol that I got from them, and they help set me up with exactly what I need, and I trust them to sell me the things that I need and nothing more, nothing less. If you are looking for a gift still this holiday season, go get a gift card from STS Armory and make someone's Christmas extra special this holiday season. You can call them if you have questions at 618-931-GUNS. That's 618-931-GUNS. Or you can visit them online right now at sts-armory.com.
Hey, Mark Cox here. I recently learned something new from St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She told me the number of all-cash home sales is at the highest level since 2011. Makes sense. Gloria knows that today home sellers have options outside of a real estate agent or an auction company, and that a cash offer may be the best solution. Unlike a local investor or a real estate agent that gives you just one option, Gloria Liu's able to provide multiple cash offers quickly by visiting her website. You also get a guaranteed offer from one of her motivated buyers in waiting. So if you'd like to receive multiple cash offers on your home quickly, visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. You can sell as is without having to make any costly repair and choose your closing date. Get multiple cash offers for your home today at GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
Join me, Mark Reardon, and the 97.1 FM Talk team for a night of purpose at the inaugural Give Back Trivia Night on January 5th at the Moolah Shrine Center. Be a beacon of hope for children. Reserve your table now at 971talk.com/events.
Whether it's Martha's Vineyard, whether it's New York City, whether it's Chicago, Los Angeles, they want nothing to do with the effects of an open border. The fact of the matter is you have major Democrats in this country now acknowledging you cannot have an open border. You cannot have 9 million people, 8 million people come in a 3-year period. We don't know who they are. They're imposing burdens on society, criminal aliens, fentanyl, the whole 9 yards. This is probably, and you've pointed out, Biden's doing very poorly, but of all the things he's done, this may be the biggest dereliction of duty. He has not satisfied his oath of office as president of the United States to keep this country safe.
Well, that's the Florida governor and also candidate for the presidency, Ron DeSantis, talking about the border crisis. And if you've been watching the news report coming out specifically of Fox News, which is what we've been watching here in the studio, and you're seeing the images of the it's like tens of thousands of people a day. It's unreal to see what is going on in our southern border. It is a travesty, and it keeps getting worse every single day. I want to bring our next guest onto the show. I'm excited to have Chadwick Moore back with us. Now, he wrote a book called Tucker, and he started writing this book when Tucker was still at Fox. It's an incredible Christmas gift for folks out there who are Tucker fans. But I just read on your Twitter account, Chadwick, where you talk in your book about the Martha's Vineyard action from Ron DeSantis. Welcome back to the show. What can you tell us about that?
Hey, Annie, great to be back with you. Thanks for having me on again.
Of course.
So the Martha's Vineyard airlift, as we call it, which if anyone remembers, this was summer of 2021 or 2022. I'm getting my years mixed up now. In which it was, I would say the greatest political stunt in living memory that Ron DeSantis sent a bunch of migrants from Florida to Martha's Vineyard. And if you recall, they showed up in their residence of Martha's Vineyard, which is overwhelmingly Democrat, overwhelmingly white, immediately called in the National Guard to have them booted off their Tony, beautiful little paradise where Barack Obama also lives. And it was wonderful because it just showed the absolute hypocrisy of everything that we know about the ruling class and about the liberal left. And that whole incident was actually Tucker Carlson's idea, which I sort of uncovered in the book, because Tucker, for a long time, after Greg Abbott and others were shipping migrants to places like New York City and Chicago and DC, these sanctuary cities, Tucker had the foresight and in typical Tucker fashion on his show to say, no, we need to be sending these places to Aspen, Colorado and Martha's Vineyard and these tiny communities that can't just absorb people into the massive welfare state that exists in these big crumbling liberal cities already. So Ron DeSantis and someone on his team was clearly watching Tucker's show and took the message from him to do that. And it was a huge win for DeSantis on the national stage, obviously.
Right.
And a really wonderful stunt. It was, I remember, this is just totally an aside, but one of my favorite things when I was looking up that whole incident was the Boston Globe. Because remember, the liberal media really came in to try to defend the residents of Martha's Vineyard and how wonderful and gracious they were. Oh, look, they fed them cereal. And the cereal was like generic Fruit Loops. It wasn't even the real brand. And I remember there was an article in the Boston Globe that was saying, the Republicans and conservative media are trying to paint Martha's Vineyard as rich and white, but there's a whole other side of the story. And they sent a reporter to Martha's Vineyard, and they were only able to find one black person. And she worked as a bank teller, and she actually didn't even live on the island. She lived on the mainland and commuted to work.
I mean, the repeated hypocrisy politically that we see between what the left is willing to tell everybody else. I mean, they are excited to manage every facet of your life. And then when they're confronted in their own real lives about the repercussions of those actions, there's a bit of a panic. And you see the talking points come out, especially from folks in the media and the punditry that says, A, B, C, D, all of the talking points that have been approved. And that issue was one of, from where I sit and just observe every day and talk to fine people like you, Chadwick, it's refreshing to see them get a dose of their own medicine. But it is also amazing that here today on December 19th of 2023, the problem has gotten drastically worse at the southern border. They never learn their lesson.
Completely. And look what's happening here in New York City. Mayor Eric Adams, who is, a vast improvement over the last guy, but, still not anything great. As soon as he started calling out the Biden administration over the migrant crisis and is now saying we're either have to raise taxes, like we can afford that, or cut police forces, cut all sorts of services because we can't handle these migrants. What happened to him? Well, the feds raided his campaign. They took his cell phones, and then now he got Me Too'd by something that happened over 20 years ago.
Huh.
And that's interesting. It kind of makes you want to support Mayor Adams for actually speaking up against it. But you also see in communities in Chicago, you see black communities who are probably still staunchly Democrat voters and would vote Democrat no matter what, at least coming together and speaking publicly about this. Because, of course, the urban black community is who's most negatively affected by illegal immigration. But the Democrat Party does not want them to think about that. And yet they're seeing it now more than ever as these people are coming into our cities, invading our country.
Yeah. Well, I want to get back to the Tucker thing because your book is called Tucker. And when we first talked, it was coming out. And, the Tucker could be the man of the year as far as the news political influential figures go. because he had such a I'll just say active year, because I think if I've said tumultuous, I've watched interviews he's done with Theo Von, that one was hilarious, and Megyn Kelly, and he seems to be doing really well. Like, he seems to be of sound mind, and he's got the Tucker Carlson network coming out. What is your observation from when you were writing this book and he was doing, cable news and doing it very well, to where he is right now? What is your observation about Tucker Carlson as a thought leader?
Well, he's it's a great question. I mean, he's certainly, we pushed back publication of the book because of what happened at Fox. So I interviewed him a few more times after that, spent some time with him, and we updated it to make sure it was relevant. At first he certainly seemed a little gobsmacked and a little confused. Fox has still not officially given him an explanation for what happened. But he's still pretty much the same person. I mean, he's a very positive, super high energy, super passionate guy who absolutely loves what he does. You can tell he gets such a natural high, I think, off of communicating and engaging people, whether it's on television or whether it's just talking to him in a coffee shop. He's one of those personalities. You kind of know the type when you see him. And so, I think as long as he's working and he's out there doing his thing, he's very happy. In terms of being a thought leader, I think that one of the reasons why, when his show was taken off the air, it felt like a death for so many people, and maybe for our country in a way, was not because people thought that Tucker would shut up or that he would go away. They knew he would go on to continue in some capacity, but not being on cable news and being kicked out of the corporate media suddenly means that you're no longer a part of the official approved national discourse. It's so much easier he could be saying the exact same things he's saying now on cable, and he would have our leader's ear. I think it concerns people that even though more people are following him on social media, are listening to him in other places than ever would have on cable, it still feels like our leaders can easily just sort of relegate him to just another crazy person on the internet. The internet's a place for, the plebs and the weirdos and the people we don't have to listen to because they have no real power. And by that, they mean corporate power. So I think that's one of the reasons that I think he has a much larger reach. He's certainly more unbound and probably only to get more so that way. And he's being more honest. Not that he was ever really dishonest, but it's still, I think, that sense that, the people in power feel like they no longer have to pay attention to him or the people who listen to him. I think that's, maybe going to be a sad development if it turns out.
Well, Chadwick Moore is the author of Tucker, which is available right now. You can go to tuckerthebook.com to get your copy ordered. I think about the waves, the ripples to tsunami waves that Tucker can make in the media consumption industry. I graduated with a communications degree in 2006, and being 2023, almost out of college for 20 years, I think about how dramatically different my education was in the aughts to the way it actually is right now. And it's it's changing so rapidly. And while Tucker had the corporate ear and the people who are in installed power, the ear of all of those people, it seems to me from where I sit as an observer that Tucker likes to talk to the people, just like you were saying. He likes to talk with the people, and that the influence over everyday Americans, which he seems to have a deep respect for in a way that a lot of media entities don't. They think we can tell people what to think. We can manage how people react to the news of the day by massaging it. He says what he says. He says what he thinks. And that his influence over people, married with this very progressive time in the way people consume media, could affect the way news is delivered and received in a way that I don't know that there's anybody else out there who can do what Tucker can do right now.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's there's not many people in cable news that I think you'd want to read a biography about. There's not many people I'd certainly want to write one about. They tend to be a certain type of person. But I knew, before we started this book, I knew he was different. I knew there was a depth to him, and I knew he was not only, hilarious and very colorful, but I knew, and intelligent and well-read, but I knew there was a much more, a richer element to him that, that's more human, that's more spiritual, and his appreciation for everyday people, as you had said. With that said, he's always been this kind of, particularly when his show was taken off the air, he became this huge figurehead for new media against the old corporate media and the legacy media. But even when he was on cable, he always sort of bridged that gap. You know, he was getting his stories from what people were talking about online, not from what the front page of the New York Times says was the top news of that day, which still basically everyone on Fox does. So he was, you know, and he was also listening to everyday people. He was deciding what he thought was interesting and what was important, and letting, you know, waiters and pilots and everyday average people who he has contact with talk to him about what he thought was interesting. So not only was he bringing the internet to cable, but he was also trending every night on Twitter, not because he was being trolled, but because people were enjoying what he was saying. So he'd always kind of bridge that gap between new media and old media. And when Fox showed him the door, it seemed to be a total tsunami of a moment in this shift. I mean, look at what's happening with the Republican primary. I mean, mainstream media has had absolutely no say in who the candidate was going to be. They may have kicked some people off cable news because they wanted to control who the candidate would be, and it turned out blowing up exactly in their face. So the fact that this is, you know, there might have been some debates held on cable news, but it appears the nominee is still going to be the guy who wouldn't show up to those debates and who people on the internet decided.
Yeah, what a brilliant political decision by Donald Trump for certain. He certainly hasn't suffered because of his absence there. Last question for you, Chadwick. We're speaking with Chadwick Moore, who's author of Tucker, which you can get right now at tuckerthebook.com. He's also a columnist and contributing editor at The Spectator and an editor-in-chief of Outspoken. You made some comments on Twitter about this, and I really appreciated your perspective on it. There's so much. I would vote for any of the people running for the Republican nomination before I'd vote for a Democrat. And I have no problem saying that. It seems as though if you dive headfirst into the Twitter sphere, social media, that, you know, there are people who would slit their wrists before they would vote for another Republican in the primary. And they want to make sure that everybody else is adjacent to that. It is a slap fight every day. I peek in, I'm like, no, not today. And Tucker Carlson made a comment about, I think it was specifically about the Ron DeSantis social media staffers, and kind of called them out about it. And we've been calling out both sides of it because it seems incredibly unhelpful to the actual cause, the way that these entities are handling this primary. What is your thought? Because you're on the internet, you are somewhat of an influencer, I would say, and you see it happening. What are these influencers who are steeped in the political campaigns doing for the cause right now?
Oh God, please don't call me an influencer.
You're not an influencer. You're an author.
I agree.
You are an editor-in-chief. I said all those things first.
Yes, I'm too good for those lowly influencers. I completely agree with you. He called out the DeSantis influencers, but I mean, of course, the same could be said for many people on the Trump side. And I'm with you that I can't even be bothered. I mean, that average Republican voters, I don't think are thinking like this. I mean, I happen to be a Trump guy. My fiance is a DeSantis supporter, but we get along totally fine and understand why we have the opinions that we do, you know. And I think most people are like that. Like, if it's, you know, whoever the candidate ends up being, I don't think that there's going to be this mass exodus from the party.
Right.
It's absolutely exhausting, but these candidates got to be careful with these influencers, because when you get to, not all of them, but a lot of them, they're such narcissists. It's about them and their following and their likes. That when Tucker said this about, you know, DeSantis influencers, and by the way, he said nice things about DeSantis, the candidate.
Yeah.
But when he said this insulting things about the influencers, they freak out and they start sharing this clip and attacking Tucker Carlson. And it's like, your narcissism is hurting your candidate. I mean, like, why didn't you share the clip 2 seconds later when he said nice things about your candidate? But instead it's about you, so you have to go in. I think we're still kind of early in deciding how effective it is to employ certain types of people to help with your campaign, but you got to be careful, because it's ultimately about them and their clicks and their likes and their job for so many of these people that you might not necessarily, and they get bogged down in these stupid, silly social media fights, and it's just so exhausting. Sometimes entertaining, but lots of times exhausting.
Less entertaining sometimes, but not as often. Yeah, I sit there and I watch it, and you know, I have said before that I fell in love with Ron DeSantis as a governor I live in Illinois, and Illinois was like the last ones to open back up without the state of emergency here. In June of 2020, he said he was opening up. Like on Wednesday, my husband and I said, let's go to Florida on Friday. And we just got in the car. We're like, we have 4 kids. Don't even know if they can make it to Florida, but we're going to try because we cannot stay here. So I started paying attention, and I adore what he has done in Florida. But I also know that Donald Trump would dramatically shift the direction that this country is going back into the place of where you could actually make America great again. And I want more people to hold more than one thought in their head. And I feel like you said, regular voters are not doing this. It's the influencer world. And I don't think we're going to make any news headlines about narcissism in influencers. It's kind of like a prerequisite. Chadwick Moore, thank you for being with us. We'd love to have you back again soon. The Tucker Carlson Network, of course, fired up. I know people in my life that are going to maybe get that for a Christmas gift. I might be one of them. And I know the book, Tucker, it's a great book. People need to pick it up and read it. Support you, Chadwick, for writing that story and keeping it updated. Of course, got thrown for a loop in the middle of authoring that book. But you did a great job, and we're grateful to have you on the show today.
Oh, thank you. Such a pleasure. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Chadwick Moore. You can get the book at tuckerthebook.com. A pleasure to have here on the show, and we're grateful for his time and his insight into a man that I know I specifically look to for influence. I probably agree with 95% of what Tucker Carlson says, and then every once in a while I'm like, whoa, I do not agree with that. But who do you agree with 100% of the time ever? The book's Tucker. That's simple to remember, right? Go to tuckerthebook.com. Quick break. When we come back, Ryan Wiggins in studio for Wiggins America. I think he's going to tell us about the gifts that you are not supposed to give children for Christmas based on recommendations of pediatricians. We'll see what he has to say on the Annie Frey Show when we come back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
The aircomfortservice.com website will lead you right to where they help you with your whole home humidifier. The nosebleeds that come from the cold weather once it sets in, and we've kind of got it right now. It's getting chilly, and it's going to continue to do so. If you've got that dry, cracked skin, if you have nosebleeds, we get them in our house. My son did. And we had Air Comfort Service install with our new furnace at the time, a whole home humidifier. They are there to make sure that the air throughout your home is moisture controlled. This can incredibly improve the comfort zone of your house. And you don't have to have the clunky humidifiers, which we had. You had to fill them all the time. You have to clean them out because they get mold inside, and then you're blowing the mold in. It's awful. You don't want to deal with all of that, and you don't have to when Air Comfort Service comes over and takes care of it for you. If you have your furnace tuned up, if you are thinking about getting a new furnace installed, ask about the whole home humidifier while you're doing that. Make sure it's a good opportunity to get one installed. If you have some of those concerns like nosebleeds, dry, cracked, itchy skin, static shocks throughout the house, wood furniture and floors that are cracking all of the time, reach out to Air Comfort Service at 314-513-0091. Give them a call and ask them about that whole home humidifier. Tell them Annie sent you. Online at aircomfortservice.com.
While no child should have to spend the holidays in the hospital, there are many at SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital who will not be able to experience the joy of opening gifts around their tree. Please join 97.1 FM Talk and give the gift of hope and healing to Cardinal Glennon kids and support the Tree of Hope year-end giving campaign. Your gift ensures these brave patients can continue to receive the critical care they need during these challenging times. Thank you for giving at treeofhope.org.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Well, today is the last day of the 12 days of Annie Frey Show Cardinals giveaways.
Yay!
And not just to give you like a last day, but a big last day. It's the For the Lou pack, 10 games.
Good grief.
So not just a 5-game pack this time.
I quit right now.
Okay.
And then I'm going to call in.
And I'm going to give you a hint personally as to when to call.
Just you and me. Tell me right now.
It's going to be in the 1 o'clock hour.
Okay, I have to quit right now?
Well, you got to quit before that.
I can't
so
do Wiggins
you
America?
can do this next segment and then you can quit.
You want me to stay for Wiggins America?
If you could, please. You're kind of my crutch. So
I feel that.
Stick around in the 1 o'clock hour for the big For the Lou pack giveaway. It's the 12 days of Cardinals giveaways ending today. 12:50 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Are we one of your top presets?
You were giving off that vibe, so if you want to take it to that level.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
I've got some gifts here that this pediatrician in St. John, or Johns Hopkins, St. Johns Hopkins.
Yes. It's like the Wish.com's Johns Hopkins.
Right. Johns Hopkins Children's Hospital Emergency Medicine in St. Petersburg, Florida. She's saying this is the most common injuries that we see with toys. And so she's saying maybe think twice before getting these types of things. And you can tell me whether or not you've got them for your kids, because I've gotten some of these things for sure.
Probably wrapped them in my tree right now.
Yeah, exactly. Or your grandkids, just keep this in mind.
I don't have any grandkids.
Number one, anything. Leah, do you have any grandkids?
No.
Why was that so funny?
Negative.
No. All right, number one, anything with a button battery, as in the little flat batteries.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
She says that they can literally kill kids, and they do every year.
They get in the digestive system.
Yeah, they're often
closed.
She says they're often closed with little cheap screws that little kids, especially little kids, can kind of get those open if they jimmy them enough.
And they're geniuses.
Yeah. And then they will eat those batteries, and they are very, very toxic for you. Number two.
Is it okay to eat double A's?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh,
it's
no,
the little
it's not
flat
fine.
ones.
It is not fine.
It's not. Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
I was going to
It's
say,
not actually fine.
AA batteries are just stacks of those little button batteries.
I did not know that. If you open one up, that's what they are? Really? Interesting. Number two.
I'm shocked that Brad knew that and you didn't.
I know. I'm such a tech guy.
I didn't know it either.
No, I didn't either, but you're just so open with it. I had no idea.
Next time I'll be like, I already knew that.
Yeah. That's what you need to do. To everything Brad says.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
I was about to say that. Number two is
Took the
water
words.
beads. Do you know what this is?
Yes.
It says this is something that's a very, very old type of toy, but kids do eat them and they cause bowel obstruction. What is a water bead?
Yeah, I don't
I've
know.
just seen videos of them. They're like these little rubber, I don't know what they're made out of, but I've seen people like videos of people like pour them down their toilet and then it clogs up the pipes or it like comes out of their pipes.
God, people are dumb.
Yes, they are.
Really?
Yeah, but it's like the minute they hit water, they expand. So
Did the
that's-
internet,
Okay.
wait, real question for everyone. Did the internet make us stupider or are we just now seeing more of it?
It just exposed it.
That's what I was about to say, Brad.
I don't know. I think the internet made us dumber. Shut up. Get out of here.
That's a great point, Brad. I was going to make
I'm
that,
about
though.
to turn this show over so I can win that Cardinals 10-pack in the 1 o'clock
Yeah, you got
hour.
a couple minutes, then you got to get out.
Don't
Get
make
out.
me change my mind.
So, Leah, you're right. It does say that these things expand when people, kids especially, and pets eat them, and that's why they can
Are
cause
they just
obstruction.
squishy toys?
I don't know. She said that they're
little
are they foam?
squishy. I don't know. They're not foam. I don't know what they're. They're kind of like
It's like a gel,
jelly
right?
kind of thing.
Are they like boba beads,
Yes.
but with like
Yeah, I would say
or
that.
boba balls or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
boba balls. Number 3.
You knew that too?
Well, Brad didn't say it, so I didn't know it.
You weren't sure.
Electric scooters. Now, I think we're talking about the older variety of kids here. The first two were
It'd
littler
be a terrible
kids.
gift for a 2-year-old.
I think
also.
a bad idea for little bitty
Yeah.
kids. But it says even older kids, it says it's the bad news bears. The doctor warns kids go way too fast on them. And she says can easily mess up their faces, heads, and limbs pretty
Aw.
easily by falling off these things.
I'm not getting my kid an electric scooter.
Same category, I would put this one in hoverboards.
Yeah, those always look like bad decisions.
They look so fun, though.
No,
Am I
they
wrong?
don't. No, you're wrong.
No, I'm not.
They look terrifying.
Aren't hoverboards? Aren't they just asking? Like, there's no good story about a hoverboard that doesn't end in injury.
Oh, no. If you search hoverboards, it's going to be all like person killed by hoverboard
Not
stories.
searching it. I don't even want to. I can't stand those videos where like the fail videos
Yeah.
where people are just repeatedly getting hurt, especially with kids. Who films that and is like, the internet needs to know? Again, the internet has made us stupider.
Yeah, yeah. My kids got hoverboards for Christmas last year, which I was all for, but I also was scared that they were going to hurt themselves. So we got the little bikes that go with them. But I had to try it.
Training
So
wheels.
sometime in the spring of this year, I'm rolling around my parents' front yard on their porch area on a hoverboard. I've never looked so old man in my life.
I don't know.
Like, oh, I think I've done it.
I'm
Were you,
human.
like on it on your knees?
I was barely. I was going like 1 mile an hour on this thing.
Not a hoverboard fan.
Trampolines. This one's always talked about as being very, very dangerous.
Is
but
there anything more fun as a child
I
than
know.
jumping on a
Oh,
trampoline?
gosh.
And if
I
I
know.
jumped on a trampoline right now for 5-10 minutes, I'd feel it for 5 or 10 weeks.
Exactly.
It would just, I'd have to be calling my chiropractor. It would be problematic.
I think it's one of my earliest memories was going out to some farm somewhere.
Yeah, you know, everybody can remember the family or the friend
Yeah,
that
that had the trampoline, and it was it was a big oval one too. That they don't even make. They don't make a lot of those anymore.
Have you seen the people who dig the hole into the ground?
Yes. I love that.
I'm okay with that. It's a smart move.
Yeah, that does seem like it would be a better idea. But they say even the ones with nets, she says, you can kind of
Still
get
crack
caught
your
in
head
them.
open.
They always look more safe. But I'm like, if you're just going to bounce into the net, I don't know, maybe. The last couple here are Heelys, which I think are awesome.
What's a Heely?
What's
the
a Heely?
shoes with the wheels and the heels.
Oh.
Yes. Stores hate them.
So do schools.
Yes.
I don't think you're allowed to wear them at school.
Basically, any institution hates them, which is why I want
Why
them
do
for
you
adults.
need wheels on your shoes?
They just look awesome. ATVs and golf
Ryan,
carts, are we
I
giving
think-
those now?
Ryan, I think you can wear them.
If they made them in a size 12, I would get them. Can
Roll
somebody
around
write
here.
this down?
Yeah, Annie's immediately searching for that.
Somebody write that down because I really, genuinely, not just for radio, would love to have adult Heelys.
I
Just
would
see you scooting around the
Oh my
building.
gosh, it'd be awesome.
Taking Patty from sales out.
just that slight
Watch out,
slope
Drew,
out toward the
coming
door.
Ryan's
You
like,
could
get
no!
around the office a lot faster.
And size 12.
That's all I'm saying.
Heelys. How do you spell Heelys?
Heelys.
L-Y-S. I'm going to have to take care of the Christmas present back.
That's fine.
Jim Carafano?
Just give me both of them.
What a segue when we come back.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun. Always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
Man, the Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, if your husband isn't into Heelys, maybe he's into nice watches and fine things, but who knows? You know your husband the best. The Diamond Shop will help you match your loved one with something perfect, something in your budget range, something that is going to make them smile on Christmas morning. Or maybe if you're looking for Valentine's Day, looking ahead to the spring, I want to remind you that they have 6 months, same as cash. So you get great financing so you can access the best of the best in St. Louis when it comes to fine jewelry with, honestly, the best people in the business. Go into the Diamond Shop. They're located in Clayton. They're online right now at thediamondshop.net. You can become a VIP there and get great access to the finest jewelry with the finest people in the business. When you shop their store in Clayton, you walk in, it sparkles from ceiling to floor, and you'll find something perfect for that loved one in your life. Find them online at thediamondshop.net.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Pushback from Iran and its proxies. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Iran-backed rebels in Yemen just out with a statement accusing the U.S. of using maritime safety issues as a pretext to support aggression against the Palestinian people. This after U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin announced a U.S.-led international task force.
Just hours after the Defense Department announced a new maritime task force to protect commercial shipping in the Red Sea from Iranian-backed Houthi attacks, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC Navy, announced it has established a new voluntary unit to carry out its military operations at sea near the Strait of Hormuz. According to a top IRGC commander, local sailors will be allowed to carry out missions on vessels armed with rockets.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. Secretary Austin says Operation Prosperity Guardian will bring together more than a dozen countries to carry out joint patrols in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. Some large companies, including BP and Maersk, are currently rerouting ships. Protesters arrested a short time ago for staging an anti-Israel demonstration inside the U.S. Capitol. Meantime, a debate at the UN, where work continues on a draft resolution demanding Israel and Hamas allow access for humanitarian aid in Gaza. The U.S. did not support a previous resolution calling for a ceasefire. Word of a lawsuit already over an order signed by the Texas governor yesterday, making it a crime to cross the border illegally and allowing the state to arrest migrants.
The bill has some of the harshest penalties ever put to paper, with up to 6 months in jail for the first-time offense for illegally crossing, 20 years for additional convictions after the second time, and they could face a felony charge if they refuse to return to Mexico.
Fox's Griff Jenkins. Opponents say it's state overreach. The governor says the state has a right to defend itself. America is listening to Fox News.
Can't sleep with this cold.
Honey.
Honey?
Honey, you need NyQuil Severe Honey.
NyQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a dreamy honey taste.
Feeling better, honey? Honey? I'll take that as a yes.
Try NyQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu symptom relief. NyQuil Severe with honey flavor. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever. Honeylicious, best sleep with a cold. Medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a chilly 45 degrees for the high today, but we've got a fair share of sunshine all afternoon. Till the sun goes down, the good news, the winds are light. Tonight, more and more clouds, 32. Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Warmer in the afternoon, 55 for the high. Clouds on Thursday, but still 55. Here comes the next batch of rain Thursday night and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Ruler Foods is helping you save money with each and every grocery shopping trip that you make. A huge thank you to everybody who came out last week to support us, raised over $5,000. It's just amazing, mind-blowing. All in with the help of Ruler Foods. They donated $1,000 to the cause. And what I really loved about that experience last week, aside from secondarily to the people who we were able to help through your generosity, is how many of y'all came into the Ruler Foods at St. Charles and talked about how you love shopping there now. And you heard about it first on the Annie Frey Show, and now it's a place that you go to. It's in your routine. And the money that you save, the ease with which you can shop at Ruler Foods, you wouldn't have known where it was or gone in, but you heard about it on the show and you gave it a shot. I want to use that as a little bit of a story to tell the rest of you who have heard me talk about it, and maybe you've driven past the Ruler Foods and you've seen it, but you haven't made the visit inside. Go check it out. You're going to save money, and you're going to say, gosh, I should have started doing this earlier. You can find the one closest to you by going to rulerfoods.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together millions of things for our planet. If you get a new tablet or cell phone this year, recycle your old one, either by donation or an e-waste program. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
I'm embarrassed to say this. I've been using deodorant on my armpits for 30 years, and anytime I noticed odor anywhere else, I thought I needed another shower, I wasn't clean, or I felt like there was something wrong with me. And then my gynecologist told me about Lumi. It's a whole body deodorant for pits, feet, and privates that controls odor anywhere and everywhere on your body. Since Lumi, I never have to worry about body odor ever again, anywhere on my body. And that reassurance is worth every penny.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 300 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 300. LUME deodorant.com, code 300 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I am so sure you're going to love it. Or return it for free. That's LUME deodorant.com, code 300 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. LUME deodorant.com, code 300.
Most folks don't realize this fact. Our country is only 4 missed meals away from chaos, and those meals can vanish fast. In a national emergency, fragile supply chains break down and will wipe grocery store shelves clean in a matter of hours. Before this happens, there's something you should do today. That's stock up on emergency food storage. My Patriot Supply is the company millions of American families trust for their emergency supplies. You should too. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and secure their best-selling 3-month emergency food kits. Each kit contains delicious breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. My Patriot Supply also sells large solar generators, gravity-powered water filtration systems, off-grid room heaters for when the power goes out, heirloom seeds, and other survival necessities. Order by 3 p.m. and your items ship the same day, fast. Go to mypatriotsupply.com right now. Those who know what's coming prepare before the chaos starts. MyPatriotSupply.com.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness 101 for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness 101. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
I can see clearly now thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and introducing Samuel Berry. You can too. Call 314-966-5000 or check out youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
Mark Cox here, wishing you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I look so forward to getting together with my family this time of year, celebrating with my grandson Ashton, and the newest addition to our family, my granddaughter Isabella.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
This
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Just got done in the 12 o'clock hour speaking with Chadwick Moore. A great conversation with him. Glad that he was able to join us. You can check the podcast if you'd like to hear what you missed. But I want to get right next to our next guest. And I'm going to do this a little bit differently this day because I want to give him an opportunity. This will be like the last time, I think, that I'm going to talk to him before Christmas. Jim Carafano joins us, the senior counselor to the president and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Merry Christmas, Jim Carafano. Let's start it out on a positive note.
Well, that's because it's only going to be downhill from here, but go ahead.
Probably. I just wanted to tell you Merry Christmas, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to react to the moment of the season because 2024 is going to be bonkers, as you know. 2023 is wrapping up. Our YouTube live chat poll for today is, what grade would you give 2023? I'll ask you that question, but are you a Christmas celebrator? What do you do in the holiday season?
We like quiet stuff. We just stay here. I'm always excited and the optimist, and nonpartisan, not Republican, not Democrat. I think we had a great learning experience in 2023, and we have an unbelievably blessed opportunity in 2024. So in 2023, we learned really what's going on. I think in so many different areas. In foreign policy, we have an administration that is way more concerned about not losing than they are about winning, that tries to buy off our enemies, placate them, and then do the minimum to get by, waffle between defending our friends and pushing on our enemies. It's the Obama playbook. And the reason why it doesn't work very well is because they all know the Obama playbook, because it's all the same people that were in the Obama administration. So if you're Russia or China or Iran or terrorists, you know exactly what to do to kind of tweak this administration. On border and immigration policy, we have an administration that is fighting not to secure the border. They're willing to throw overboard aid to Ukraine and Israel in order not to secure the border. We've seen what they've done to the economy, and they can talk about Bidenomics all they want, but we know that inflation, mortgages, prices, wages, none of this is going great for the American worker. And most notably, we've seen on the woke agenda that the path forward is an infinite number of genders and blue hair and every, possibly ridiculous or, diverse thing you could imagine, from anti-Semitism being okay to racism against white people. That's part and parcel of their agenda. So we can't have a debate about who the left is in America. We just can't debate that. And here's my great optimism. We have two perfectly different opposing visions for America in our political parties. I think that's awesome. I don't think that's the route to civil war. I don't think it's what's bad about America. I think America's a blessed country because nobody else has choices as black and white, and we do. So we get to go to the polls and decide what direction we want our country in. We get to choose the future of this. There's no waffling. There's no I'm Mitt Romney. You can't tell what I am. These are completely different paths forward. And it's not like roulette where you got 87 colors. Or you get to pick black or white, or or pink, or I guess we can't do black and white, and we really can't do red and blue. I don't know if it's the rainbow versus, I don't know. I just don't know. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. Speaking with Jim Carafano right now. I do know because, specifically on the border, which is a huge story right now, but Jim, it's been a huge story every time we talk. I think about what the president and the administration has done on this issue. People say they're ignoring it, but they're not ignoring it. They sued to make sure that the floating barriers that were put into the Rio Grande were removed. They made sure that the shipping containers that were being used as a barrier were removed. They went after the border agents that were falsely accused of whipping immigrants. They made that a big story. So they're paying attention when they feel as though it's politically advantageous. They've created this situation. It's manufactured by them. And Americans on every corner of the political spectrum are going to have to make a definitive choice in 2024. And Jim Carafano, you said on day one that this would be the defining issue of the 2024 election. You stand by that?
They are fighting to keep the border open and the American taxpayers are being billed for all of it. I mean, that's just the I don't care. You can label it racist or I mean, we can put all kinds of labels on it, call it different things, spin it differently. But this is the reality. Their part of the policy is an open border policy that allows millions of people illegally to come to this country, and has no plan on how to sustain or deal with that, other than to just get more. And the American taxpayer pays everything for it. And the only people who are benefiting are criminal cartels and people who are managing human trafficking coming from Asia, coming from China, coming from Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America. And we don't know who they are. We don't know anything about any of them.
The Texas Governor Abbott, took matters into his own hands because the federal government is not addressing the issue at all and is going to put more state police officers at the southern border to help process. I think I heard on the news today that they are 200 immigrants to one agent right now because the influx is so gigantic. What do you think about the governor of Texas taking that unilateral action?
Look, I mean, we have to have a look. If we have to have a change in government at the federal level to get significantly different outcomes, there are three. These are. I mean, I think all these things are important because people are trying to deal with it. They're sending signals and they're making statements. But the only way the policies change is if the federal government's completely different. I did the report. There's 3 million cases behind in processing applications for people that live into the country and make asylum claims. 3 million cases behind. 3 million cases. And that's not counting the number of people that just never been bothered to register for amnesty. That's the magnitude of this problem. And the Biden answer is, and I saw the numbers the other day, right? $500 billion. That's what it costs to. So people keep saying we need the workers. We need them here. It's opportunity and everything else. Look, we're running. It's a $500 billion bill, and again, all of it coming out of Amy Frey's personal checking account.
It's you can't make sense of it, and it has become a bipartisan issue against the administration and what they're doing now. On a broader scale, on a foreign policy scale, you could add to the border conflict with Russia and Ukraine, China, our relationship with them, Iran, our buddy-buddy relationship with them that has funneled terror across the entire region, Hamas attacking Israel. I mean, I remember when Donald Trump was running for president and they threatened if Donald Trump wins this election, we're going to have World War III, we're going to lose our country, and so on and so forth. Right. We have those things. They did not happen under Trump. They are happening under this administration. And 4 more years of this, I assume, would embolden our enemies even more.
And then if you look, and then what does the left have? I mean, they tried Bidenomics, that didn't work. They tried everything, it didn't work. Their line is, if we let Trump win, he'll become a dictator. That's the sum total.
Yeah.
That's the sum total of all that's all they got.
So, I talk to people about immigration from time to time, and I always love your perspective on it. I talked to, Stephen Moore about economics, what a new president or what Joe Biden could do at any given time with that presidential executive power on day one. Are there day one things that we need an administrator to do to secure our country and make this country the great country it used to be?
So the border immigration is actually quite interesting because we actually had this debate under Donald Trump, when I was actually, running the policy and intimately involved in it. What we concluded is that what Trump demonstrated is under existing law, like not changing one federal law, we can do everything we need to secure the border and enforce immigration law. Now, are there things that we can do to make it better and faster? Sure, that was what H.R. 2 was in the House. But all it takes is a president. So if there's one issue in America that literally could change on day one, that the first day the president can come in, write a piece of paper and sign it, and immediately start to counter. And you have to remember, as soon as the president does that, 2 things are going to happen. One is the cartels are going to start to fight back to keep their market share, and people are going to start voting with their feet. which I mean is a lot. People forget this. The biggest reduction in illegal migration in the U.S. occurred under Trump, in large course because people, what's called self-deported. They just went home because they knew that this was not that nobody's going to let them stay forever and give them amnesty, so they just left. Yeah. And a lot of that would happen. That would start to happen on day one of a Trump Republican conservative administration. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that 2024. You said this, that we are blessed that we have the opportunity to make a decision again in 2024. If this was the status of our country and we had years left of this to progress in the direction it's going right now, that would be a little more traumatic than it is right now. But the stakes are high, and people have to be paying attention. People have to care about the issues that are actually important, not the ones that the campaigns and the punditry try to force upon people to care about. It's kind of a distracting maneuver during a campaign season. I think these issues, the economy transcends politics in many ways, and you called it. You called it from day one of this administration, on this show at least.
Yeah, you don't have to listen to the rhetoric. You don't have to. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what ads they run. It doesn't matter. You just know that you're voting for two very different visions. You don't need. There's nothing that's going to happen in the next 12 whatever months. That 11 months, I guess. That's going to make the difference. Don't listen to any of it. Get ready to make your choice because it's very clear who these people are, and don't pay attention to what they say or the politics or what anything. It's all just blah blah. Ignore the blah blah. The facts are before you. Make a choice.
Yeah. Amen to that. Merry Christmas to you, Jim Carafano. You did kind of make that a bright spot in a very, very dark area of politics in our country right now. And
Can I tell you what I got through Christmas? Every year I get a great present, and that's Annie Frey. The Annie Frey show is, no, not joking. Not only do I, obviously super enjoy talking to you, but I think we're all blessed by what you bring to the table in terms of informing Americans and everything. And so just having your friendship and being able to listen to your show and know what you do, that's actually a pretty cool gift for me. So
Jim Carafano, you made me blush. I know people, maybe they can hear it over the radio. I'm turning red. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Good to have you on the show. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, let's talk about the YouTube live chat poll. What grade do you give 2023? I might up my grade now after that very kind compliment. but nobody better put him up to that. That was nice. That's very nice. What grade do you give 2023? Give us your comments on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. Amy said, I give it an A because both my parents had health scares this year, but they are both still here and healthy. Can't ask for more. Man, that's perspective, isn't it? Russell says, personally, I would give a B+. Been a pretty good year for health and family. Economy and price is an F-. Overall, I voted B/C. Make no sense, I know. You got to walk through it, don't you? Hunter said, I voted for C. And Larry said, F-. It's been one crisis after another in this country. Border, inflation, crime, endless war. We keep funding it, and it just goes on and on. Let's change it in 2024. What do you say? We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage. Call him, text him right now at 314-324-4440. The bagel loan is a smart move. Rates are coming down right now. You've heard about that on the news, that the mortgage rates have come down from their super high highs. If you had to get that mortgage when they were super high, it might be a smart move right now to refinance with the bagel loan. When you call or text Stewie at 314-324-4440, you are going to be able to ask him how the bagel loan can help you on that refinance. When you refinance with the bagel loan, you pay nothing in closing costs. So it's not going to cost you to go through that process, and you're going to be able to secure that lower rate that is now available. When you talk to Stewie, he will explain it to you. He will show you how it might make sense for you to do this one way or the other way, but ultimately he's going to give you the best circumstance for your specific economic decision. I am a 2-time customer myself of the bagel loan. I've gone through it. He doesn't tuck those closing costs away. They don't exist. You don't pay for them. He takes care of you that way. 314-324-4440. Call my friend Stewie and ask about your mortgage situation today. You can Google the Bagel Loan to find out more info. NMLS number 226715.
There's no gift that's more beautiful, more versatile, and more meaningful than a beautiful piece of jewelry. And there's no better place to shop than Diamonds Direct, where making memorable moments is our specialty. Last minute shopper? Relax. This holiday season, we've put together our most impressive selection of can't-miss gifts you can get today. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands for every taste and every price range. And don't miss our amazing collection of Swiss timepieces, including pre-owned Rolex watches you can't find anywhere else. Need more inspiration? Check out our online gift guide and even chat with a virtual assistant at diamondsdirect.com. Ask about flexible financing options as well. Connect with Diamonds Direct and let us help you choose that perfect headliner gift at the absolute best value price. Get all the details, special showroom hours, and lots of ideas now at diamondsdirect.com. At Olive and 270, official partner of the St. Louis Blues and proud to call the Gateway City home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Hey, Mark Cox here. I recently learned something new from St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She told me the number of all-cash home sales is at the highest level since 2011. Makes sense. Gloria knows that today home sellers have options outside of a real estate agent or an auction company, and that a cash offer may be the best solution. Unlike a local investor or a real estate agent that gives you just one option, Gloria Liu is able to provide multiple cash offers quickly by visiting her website. You also get a guaranteed offer from one of her motivated buyers in waiting. So if you'd like to receive multiple cash offers on your home quickly, visit gloriahasthebuyers.com. That's gloriahasthebuyers.com. You can sell as is without having to make any costly repair and choose your closing date. Get multiple cash offers for your home today at gloriahasthebuyers.com. That's gloriahasthebuyers.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save $100 off a whole home humidifier and improve the air quality of your home while lowering utility bills. For details and to get in your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Will Scharf, former federal prosecutor.
This has been a historically terrible presidency. The world's on fire. Our economy is in a shambles. And the American people are justifiably sick and tired of that.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all?
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose.
How do you feel about Rudolph as a song?
And if you ever saw it...
Well, I think it's a beloved Christmas carol, and I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I have no problems with it.
I don't have any problems with it. It feels very childhood Christmas to me. Kids love it.
Yeah.
Such a funny song.
Now, the cartoon, or the claymation that goes along
Poor
with it,
reindeer.
that makes me feel a little weird.
Why? Why? What kind of weird?
Yeah, I know.
It's that elf that wants to be a dentist.
Yeah, what's his name? Dennis?
Yeah.
Something like that.
How did they came up with that?
It sounds a lot like dentist, I think, is the answer to your question.
Just minus a few T's.
Mm-hmm. I think that cartoon makes me feel weird because I remember watching it as a kid and thinking, this is a cartoon, and I enjoy cartoons, but this one seems really mean. And the world in which Rudolph exists, you know, his coach and Santa both are pretty rude to everybody, especially Rudolph, who you're cheering for the whole time. Makes you feel bad. You got to watch the whole thing to feel like there's some justice in the world.
Yeah. Okay. Man, yesterday Drew Barrymore on this stupid show.
Oh, no, that's where you were.
Yesterday, Drew Barrymore was interviewing Jada Pinkett Smith, and I almost ripped the TV off the wall in the middle of talking to somebody very important.
Were they sitting on the floor,
No, they
touching
were
each
sitting
other's
so
hands?
close to each other. I really like Drew Barrymore as far as Hollywood celebrities go. I have friends who are like Drew Barrymore, and they know that I am not like Drew Barrymore.
Really?
And they respect me for that, and we know our boundaries. But I can't stand Jada Pinkett Smith. I cannot stand her. And she was sitting nose to nose with Drew Barrymore, and I'm like, God, I just can't take it anymore.
You know who Drew Barrymore reminds me a little bit of?
No.
My wife.
Yeah?
Not quite as free spirit as her. But
I think you need to go to the grocery store. Why are you standing so close to me?
My wife, because
it's really important.
She's very like free flowing, and she has a huge vocabulary. So there they are, those two things. Have you ever noticed that about Drew Barrymore?
They're both beautiful.
Her vast vocabulary?
Yes. She has a huge vocabulary.
I've never noticed that.
Yeah.
I know she talks out of the side of her mouth.
That's true. Katie doesn't do that.
Maybe that's to distinguish.
Yeah. Because otherwise they'd be like, Drew? Oh, it's just you.
It's just you. Don't you mean even better?
I would have to get there, but the initial shock might knock me down.
No, it's not the thing you get to. It's what you lead with.
I lead with walking in the door every day and being shocked that my wife is not Drew Barrymore.
Brian, would you say that who you are on this show is who you are in real life?
It's pretty close. I might be a little bit more exaggerated. I'm not as crazy at home all the time, but because I have to sleep.
I'm going to text my best friend and ask for verification
but
on that.
It's not too far off.
Because you have to sleep?
Yeah.
The only thing that stops this train is getting some Z's?
Yeah. Yeah, because when I'm in bed, I'm nothing like when I'm on the radio.
What are we talking about?
Whoops. It's like that fortune cookie game.
50% of the people think you said that on purpose.
No.
50% of the people have no idea.
Well, what's he like in bed then?
He snores. He wears a mouth
He's
guard.
real boring. He's got a great personality, but not in bed.
He's literally talking about sleeping.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
I really was.
And it's not. This is the thing. He doesn't realize what he said until he looks me in the eyes.
And I go, oh. There's that look again.
Didn't see that happening in the 1 o'clock hour today. Ryan talking about.
Text Katie and ask her. Just go ahead.
No,
Text. I feel like I've really hurt my reputation.
I don't want to talk about it at all ever again.
Let's talk about it at 3.
I have to leave immediately. Thank you. I'm crying.
Yep. Yeah, I'm getting hot flashes. Must be that time of the life cycle. Woo.
Go back on the YouTube Live later.
Yeah.
And watch you realize what you just said.
Oh, I don't want to watch it. I remember it.
Yeah, but you haven't seen you do it yet.
The only problem with it is that I was just talking about how I'm really fun elsewhere, but not there.
I was there. I saw it all happen.
Normally I can make a joke work, but that one I'm like, nah, I can't really make that work. Doesn't look good for me.
You want to grade this year?
No.
You started the segment thinking what, A, B, C? Where are you at now?
Yeah, by now I'm like, no way. And if somebody by the name of Leah makes a YouTube short out of that, I'm not going to be super happy.
But
because
Leah,
through creative editing,
will be very happy.
That could make And here's what happens. It's not just the problem with just the YouTube or the videos that go out. It's that people in this office see those a lot.
Do you know that they're listening to the show right now? They heard you say that.
I
And then you're
know,
going to walk out there
but
with your Heelys and scoot by like everything is just normal.
Oh, that's going to be awesome, first of all. Somebody's going to be like, oh, I'm going to close this fridge, and I'm going to be in my office and be like, no, you're not. Shoo! And I'm going to be head first in that fridge before they can even close it. But the people in this office, there's a lot of radio happening all over the place. So it's not as if you can consume every single thing going on all the time. But our colleagues seem to consume those videos with regularity. And they will approach me and say, I saw...
in some cases, all they know about the show.
Yeah, sometimes. And so what's going to happen is, around this office, she's going to edit this to look like I said, I'm a really fun guy. except when I'm at home in bed.
Which would be unedited just from the start and the end of you talking.
No context after that. She's just going to cut it there. And then I'm going to walk around this office and everybody's going to look at me differently. Because what they thought about me was that I was a real Casanova. And now they're going to think, oh,
Yeah,
maybe he's not.
You've finally dramatically changed minds of your colleagues.
Yeah. I used to walk around swinging a pocket watch, and people are like, there he goes. He's got the world by the you-know-what. And now they're going to say, oh, he's a real sleepy guy. He's not that great at performing outside of the radio. Oh, good. Leah didn't hear any of that. She's just walking back now.
That's because she just went to edit the video.
Oh, she's smiling like she did. Never mind.
Grade the year, Brad.
Oh, man. How do I do that after that?
I don't know.
This is your job, right?
Just grade the segment.
Yeah. The segment's a solid.
We'll widen the focus after this segment.
No. Any year that I get through with, and I'm not through it yet, but I've made it through thus far without any major health concerns is a good year. So I always start off immediately at a high C, low B on that. And I mean, I would give this year a B, a solid B.
It was an A before the segment, wasn't it?
I'm going to be walking down this. I'm going to be walking in the kitchen.
Read Bobo Farms' comment there from YouTube.
Just joining the show. What did I walk into? Exactly. I'm going to be walking around this office, and then somebody like D to the C or Princess Storm or Ranji or somebody's going to walk up to me and be like, oh. And they're going to know.
They're not. They're just going to look at you out of the side of their eyes.
Yeah, and they will talk to me now.
With pity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like it at all. The corporate suite, they're all going to be like, oh.
The C-suite that's paying all their attention to the show right now. Our job, our goal is to stay completely off the radar. Thanks for putting us in focus for them.
It's so true.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't pay any attention to us. Don't listen to us.
I mean, literally, it's the truth.
I know. It's so funny.
We'll just sneak in on middays and nobody will know that we're here.
Wait till they're in a meeting and then we'll come in the back door. They don't even know we're in the building. Can we climb up the outside into the window?
Yeah, we're doing great, though.
Yeah, we're doing great. How would I grade the show?
No, not the show. I'm not interested in that thought. Your year. You can grade it on any terms.
I'm going to grade it an A. I have loved 2023. I have loved nothing about the politics of 2023, although covering this kind of run-up to the primaries has been kind of fun. But the actual results of the policies, they just continue to be terrible, and so that's kind of depressing. But personally, I've had a great year. I can't even look back and tell you what's been great about it. I've just really enjoyed it. So I give it an A.
As we get older, do you feel like your standards for what makes it a good year get very simple?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because I know I'm 39. Next 24 is a big year for me. I'm turning 40. You turned 40 this year.
Yep.
You've been 40 for a while.
Couple years.
And
decades.
Yeah.
2 years. I'm 42.
He turned 40 twice. He's 80. And look how spry he is.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's not age. It's how you use it.
Yeah. It's the motion of the ocean.
But when you think about, I'll complain about stupid things. I don't think they're stupid until my dad says to me, "Are your kids healthy?" And I'm like, God dang it. I'm not talking to you anymore.
Stop it.
You're just making everything seem like it's not that big of a deal. And I want to make it a big deal.
Though.
But it is true. Are the people in your life healthy? Sometimes the people, like the comment, I think it was Amy who wrote that comment earlier. She had some health scares with her parents, but her parents are still with her and they have moved through that. You know, sometimes you have to experience. I will say this to my kids, and I say this to myself all the time. You can't have good days if you don't have bad days. And that is something you say to yourself when you're having a bad day. It's not something you say when you're having a good day. Like, oh, all the bad days really prepared me for this moment. But when you are thinking back and reflecting on 2023, I mean, I would probably say I had one really bad year. 2017 was a really bad year for myself. And everything that has come in my life since having a really bad year, I am so grateful for much simpler things. And it has given me a massive dose of perspective that I wouldn't have had if I wouldn't have experienced a really, really rough year. So in that essence, I'm really actually grateful for the experience and the learning lesson. Would have been nice if I would have had to not go through that, but here we are. Everybody experiences those lessons. I think when I look back at 2023, like politically, F. But okay, it's kind of like, how do you take the average of all of the grades? Just like if you were in school, you take tests, you have quizzes, you have homework, you have maybe extra credit. It's like the tests were a very bad grade politically for this past year, but they're not the biggest part of the sum total of the grade. And when I do look at my family and my family is healthy and we're near each other and we're able to love each other and celebrate the most basic, tangible things. You go through Christmas shopping and, even my kids, when I've asked my kids, what do you want? I don't spoil my kids. My kids are very blessed, but I don't spoil my kids. I don't think I spoil my kids. They are, I was going to say victims of tough love, but I don't really look at it that way. When you ask them what they want for Christmas, they're not needy about stuff. They won't say, I want this, 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 and this. They're pretty content. And I feel blessed in that I get to raise my children the way I want to raise my children. And in this country, that's still possible. And in some countries, it's not possible. In some countries, it's much more dangerous than it is here. And all of those things are ways to look on the bright side. I will echo what Jim Carafano said, though, about what is upon us, which is 2024, and be very grateful that we do have the opportunity to drastically change the direction of our country in less than a year. And I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be nasty on the way there, but it is a necessary process to go through. And, the political process, the election process is what it is. But we still have a say. And that is something that we need to squarely focus our attention on in the year to come. And again, echoing what Jim Carafano said about 30 minutes ago, the idea that you could not have more distinct choices in the election that is coming. You're not voting for somebody who's kind of wishy-washy on policy over here and wishy-washy on policy over there. That's not what the choice is. You have to understand that you vote one way, the country drastically goes in one direction. You vote another way, the country drastically goes in the other direction. If they replace Joe Biden with Gavin Newsom or Michelle Obama or J.B. Pritzker, that element of the binary choice does not change. If you replace Donald Trump with Nikki Haley or with Ron DeSantis or anybody else, I still don't think, some might disagree with me, but I don't think that choice drastically changes. People are going to have to show up. And I think it's a blessing that we get the opportunity to do that. I'm kind of with you, Ryan. It's almost like it's an A or an F. And if you listen to what my dad will say to me, are your kids healthy? Is your family healthy? Are you healthy? It's an A. That's for me, at least.
Yeah. I'm blessed to not struggle too badly with anxiety, but when I do, I will have to sit down at times and just go, what's actually wrong? And just ask myself that question. And usually the answer is something that's not that big of a deal in the long run. It's usually something dealing with right now that's ultimately not going to change my life.
If you have something happen, had a loved one during COVID who was in the hospital for about 15 days, the world stops. I've told this story before, but I distinctly remember driving past a golf course after going to do whatever you could do to visit, bring some stuff to the hospital or whatever. I remember going past a golf course and people were out golfing. And I remember I was very self-aware of how ridiculous this thought was, but I remember thinking, how can you just be out there golfing? My world has halted, come to a complete stop, and you're just golfing. And then that makes you realize that how big your footprint is. It's very small.
Yeah.
And there are people and things, but mostly people in your life who, as small as your footprint is, their footprint in your life can be very big. And when you have to face those things head on and it takes up your full attention, that the world continues to revolve around their own lives, that it's not all about, you're not the epicenter, you're not starring in your own movie. The people are out there golfing, and then the truth of the matter is those people might be experiencing something in their life that has brought their world to a halt, and they're out there golfing to try to change, to get their mind off of something. And when you are made to feel smaller in the grand scheme of things, you bring into focus the things in your life that are a larger part of your attention. And I really am annoyed at how hard it is to gain perspective. Like, I wish that I was mature and humble enough to have really good, solid perspective without having to go through struggle and strife and anxiety or worry. But that's just the way we learn the lesson the fastest and the most impactful. So if you're one of those people who's going through that right now, we will pray for you, and we will lift you up, because I understand what it's like to be in that moment. I'm not in that moment right now, and I don't want to be in that moment right now, but it is a big deal. And when you're, grading your year, I think a lot of times it really comes down to that. Let's take a quick break. Important thing happening in the next segment. Don't go away. See if we can pull it off.
Yeah, it's a big if.
It's up to you.
Okay, then it won't happen.
I did my best to save the segment.
I was notified by management about halfway through that segment that Mark Cox has requested an office change. He's my office mate.
Mark!
Yeah.
I was going to say why, but I think I already know.
He needs somebody a little more exciting.
Yeah. I'll try. That's a weird thing to request for that reason, Mark.
I don't want to talk about it anymore, because I do not want to go to the HR office with you. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
They never let poor Rudolph.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer love him.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com. Shopping for flooring made simple with experts on your side. Shopping at Michael's Flooring Outlet with 3 locations across the St. Louis area. When you visit them in St. Charles County on Main Street in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70. If you go visit them in West County on Olive Boulevard, just 1 mile off of 270 West on Olive. They also have a location there in Darting Prairie. You're visiting a locally owned and operated family business. I think that matters. I think that that's important, especially in times like these where people are trying to make sure that their dollar can stretch as far as it possibly can. Well, prices on things have gone up. Michael's Flooring Outlet works hard to make sure that you are given the best value for what is very good quality flooring. Shopping for flooring at Michael's Flooring Outlet is shopping with your neighbors, is shopping with people who have supported 97.1 for, I think, decades now. And it's shopping with people who are like you. They're working hard. They understand the value of a hard-earned dollar, and they want to make sure that your flooring purchase is made to be a very successful and enjoyable one at their locations or online. You can find them at igotfloored.com.
Mark Cox here. Join me next spring on a beautiful trip to Italy. This is going to be great. We're going to fly into Rome. We are going to get on a bus and travel south to the Abbey of Monte Cassino, maybe Italy's best-kept secret. It looks like something out of a picture book. We'll visit Puglia. We'll go to Caserta. We're going to spend several days in Sorrento. You'll have an opportunity to visit the ruins in Pompeii, and then Positano, which is on the Amalfi Coast and absolutely one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. I can tell you, my wife and I have been there, and we can't wait to go back. You can even take a high-speed jet foil over to the Isle of Capri, which has some tremendous historic Roman ruins on it that you can visit while you're there. $53.67 a person. That includes your airfare from the St. Louis area. Call them toll-free at 888-733-9494. That's 888-733-9494. Or conservativetours.com.
During open enrollment, it's crucial to carefully review and compare different plans to choose the one that best suits your needs. With the Pauley Agency, you're not just getting insurance, you're getting peace of mind. Visit thepaulieagency.com to learn more. Let us help tailor a plan just for you. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your health and those you care about with the Pauley Agency. Call 636-222-2149. or visit thepaulieagency.com for a free, personalized quote today.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-210-1005. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-210-1005. 800-210-1005. 800-210-1005.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The vote is in. STL Today has certified the result. Underlaw has been voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
That final giveaway for the 12 days of Cardinals giveaways is coming up very soon. I'm going to tell you it's in the 1 o'clock hour, and there's only 10 minutes left in this hour, so it's got to be pretty soon. So stick around, and we'll tell you which caller to be in just a little bit. 1:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Conservatives Care, supporting SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. Join us by attending the Give Back Trivia Night on January 5th, hosted by Mark Reardon, or donate at 971talk.com/events.
Come with me now. Come with me now.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It is great to be with you this afternoon. Join us on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. What grade do you give 2023? An A, a B/C, a D, or an F? Brad, your grade was?
I gave it a solid B, like a B+.
B/C is your vote on there?
Yep.
And Ryan, what did you think? What was your vote?
I gave it a personal A. I felt like this year was...
The Annie Frey Show, 12 days of Cardinals mega giveaways.
314-241-9797. You just never know, do you?
Man, somebody's ear just became an A.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
They're going, oh, if I could win a Cardinals 10-pack, the Lou pack, then I would have an A for this year. Well, that's what's on the line. 10 games. It's the last day of the Cardinals giveaway, so we're going big. 10 games, 314-241-9797. Caller number 20. Who's 20?
Lou Brock.
Lou Brock.
Sweet Lou Brock.
Anybody else, or is that just he
got
he
retired
took it,
pretty
right?
quickly.
Yeah, I don't know. I have his autograph. A couple of them.
All right, here we go. 314-241-9797. Be the 20th Lou Brock caller.
You were saying?
Oh, yeah. We're still doing the segment. Yeah, it's been an A, I think, just because I can't think of anything this year that's been super problematic, and that anymore is a great year.
What do you think that...
Personally.
Do you feel like I'm shifting gears pretty dramatically here, but what do you think that the Biden family feels about 2023? What do you think Joe Biden feels about 2023?
My guess is that family is constantly on razor's edge because they have gotten away with a lot for their entire lives. And now it's all in the open, or it's becoming more in the open. And I don't know that they're scared that a lot's going to happen to them, but I think they're constantly living with that looking over your shoulder feeling now in a way that they've never had to in their lives.
I don't know how you could see what's happening right now. I mean, I don't think that the plan was for Hunter Biden to be facing this many charges. Here's a report.
Hunter Biden is scheduled to make his first court appearance and arraignment in California next month. His court appearance is set for January 11th at the U.S. District Court in the Central District of California. The charges stem from a 9-count grand jury indictment accusing Hunter Biden of 3 felony and 6 misdemeanor tax offenses. The indictment alleges he failed to fulfill his tax obligations. Instead, he allegedly spent his money financing an extravagant lifestyle, including drugs, escorts, luxury hotels, exotic cars, and other items totaling over $1 million.
Yeah, that's a problem. I also wanted to really compliment your synthesizer skills on that clip, Ryan. It's a very impressive job.
I was doing that live. That wasn't on that clip.
Well, I mean, during the clip.
I just do it randomly.
I don't understand why you walk around with that synthesizer, like in the office in your Heeley shoes, but now it makes sense.
It's actually a keytar.
Okay.
I just walk around just kind of jamming. And when I feel like it's dramatic, I'll go.
Hunter Biden, did you say? Prostitutes and cocaine, did you say? I got a chord for that.
Yeah. Because if Brad's just talking about his day, I'm like. But if it's that.
Do we think Hunter Biden is worried?
Yeah, I do.
Do we think Donald Trump is worried?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. I do. Yeah, I think he's worried because he's out of control. Like there are forces coming against him that he cannot stop. And he's doing his best, and he's wealthy enough to overcome them, which a lot of people wouldn't be. But man, you get the powers that be of this world coming at you like they're coming at Donald Trump. I don't know that you sleep well.
I don't understand how Donald Trump can feel like he's not facing a serious legal concern, especially when you look at the Georgia stuff. The documents concern is the one that I hear the most people who either play it pretty straight and narrow or find themselves on a lot of conservative media, the show included, act like the documents thing is much more problematic than some of the nonsense that's going on in New York. I mean, I have a feeling that when you throw everything at the wall to see what sticks, when you get people accustomed to the visual, I should say, of Donald Trump sitting in a courtroom, at a courthouse, defending himself, surrounded by lawyers, talking about all of his troubles, if you can fortify that there is a huge amount of political capital that is gained by that image.
Well, first of all, I don't think we need to label members of the Republican Party. I think that's happened for too long. I think that we are a country of freedom-loving Americans that want to see government just continue to do what it's supposed to do. Government was intended to secure the rights and freedoms of the people. It was never meant to be all things to all people. So if we're going back to the basics. But what I will tell you is, I think President Trump was the right president at the right time. I agree with a lot of his policies. I had a good working relationship with him. But rightly or wrongly, chaos follows him.
And she's there to take advantage of that. I don't blame her for it. I mean, you can't look at what President Trump is willing to do to people to take them out and be like, Nikki Haley, how could you say that? That chaos follows Donald Trump. I mean, it most certainly does, and he welcomes it. That's his element.
Yeah, I give her credit for saying something that in that moment, it would be very easy as his opponent right now to say, you know what, he's the chaos candidate. I'm the restore America to normalcy candidate or something like that. But she didn't say that. She said, rightly or wrongly, I think that's where a lot of Americans are, is they go, you know what, it's kind of split because he does cause some things that he doesn't have to be involved in, but not all of it. And I think we're smart enough to see that as citizens of this country, that, you know, while some of this stuff is caused by him, you know, not being smart with the way he handles certain things or the way he says things, it also is coming at him from outside of him. And I think we can discern that.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break. We'll be back here in just a few minutes. Vote on the Andy Frey YouTube live chat poll. A grade to give 2023. Back in a minute.
Come with me now. Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And who doesn't want zero body odor? With over 200,000 five-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 800 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 800. LumeDeodorant.com, code 800 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LumeDeodorant.com, code 800.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A line is drawn in the sea. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Bottom line is, these attacks have to stop.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby as the U.S. leads a new maritime task force, more than a dozen countries, planning joint patrols in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden to counter Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen who've been launching drones, rockets, and missiles, damaging some commercial ships and prompting some major shipping companies to avoid the area for now.
They need to stop. They're unacceptable. The United States, our allies and our partners, will do what we have to do to counter these threats and to protect these ships.
Kirby also says the U.S. is reviewing a possible terrorist designation of the Houthis. The Houthis support Hamas and accuse the U.S. of using maritime safety as a pretext to support aggression against the Palestinian people. Meantime, Iran's Revolutionary Guard says a new voluntary unit will be allowed to carry out missions on boats armed with rockets near the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. just issuing new Iran-related sanctions targeting individuals over the making of drones that are being used to target U.S. forces in the Middle East. The White House calls a new Texas law making it a crime to cross the border illegally extreme.
It does not make communities in Texas safer. It just does not. It dehumanizes.
Spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says the Justice Department will decide on a lawsuit, but civil rights groups are already suing, arguing it's unconstitutional. The Texas governor says the state has a right to act because the federal government isn't, as a record surge continues at the southern border.
Our CBP sources are telling us that as of this morning, they had more than 25,000 migrants in federal custody, and 20,000 is what is typically considered their breaking point. So mass releases are imminent.
Fox's Bill Malugin after U.S. sources said illegal crossings hit a new single-day record of more than 12,000. In the Senate, just getting word bipartisan talks on border security are now pausing until after the holidays. America is listening to Fox News.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey. Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's a chilly 45 degrees for the high today, but we've got a fair share of sunshine all afternoon. Till the sun goes down, the good news, the winds are light. Tonight, more and more clouds, 32. Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Warmer in the afternoon, 55 for the high. Clouds on Thursday, but still 55. Here comes the next batch of rain Thursday night and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun. Always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Pluto TV is your home for the holidays. Enjoy Christmas classics like Scrooged with Bill Murray or Last Holiday with Queen Latifah, all for free. Download the Pluto TV app on your favorite devices. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
This is Kim St. Ange with the Mark Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM Talk. I can see clearly now thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra with Ophthalmology Associates, and you can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk, searching for truth in a world of angles, positions, and outright lies. This is 97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Tuesday. The Tuesday before Christmas. We officially stated that it is Christmas week.
Yes, it is.
Even though Christmas lasts from Christmas Day through up to Epiphany.
Yes, it does.
But secularly, Merry Christmas week.
Darn right.
It's official. You know what we should talk about?
No.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Let's do that.
Is that not one of the stories, the headlines, like the great mysteries of news? And if you even say his name, the let's speak in terms Kamala Harris enjoys, Venn diagram of things that I've heard reported, and then the allegations of things that are made in the conspiratorial world, I have no idea where the lines are drawn. None.
Good to hear you say that, because I have to remind myself a lot when I hear things about Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell that they're not conspiracies, that they're proven.
Yes.
And then people take that to, well, then what about this and that? And a lot of that we just don't know.
In 3, 2, 1, somebody on the comments is going to be like, Trump's name is in the... And I'm like, I don't care whose name was on it. I'd like to know everything. I would like the full exposure of whatever the heck the story is. One, so that there can be consequences. I mean, it's child trafficking.
Yes, that's what it is.
It's child trafficking.
That's why, yes. He was in jail.
Factually.
And he died in jail.
Factually.
Maybe by his own regard.
Yeah, he was going to kill himself. I just said it that way so the algorithm couldn't pick it up.
You should put that in a meme.
Ooh, nobody's thought of that yet.
I literally did it with the Vivek sign that he held up that said, hey, Nikki is corrupt or whatever it is. Yeah. And then, man.
Tim Pool.
I was going to say, somebody blurted out and said, have fun, Internet. Yeah, and I was sitting there and I was like, boom, boom, boom. I got this. And I mean, I was like, the Epstein didn't kill himself thing is everywhere. Like, if you ever, you'll be like fully invested. It is the Rickroll of our time.
I didn't know it was that.
No, I mean, you will be looking at something, and the whole point is to drag your attention in so that at the very end, they're like, Epstein didn't kill himself.
Okay, yeah.
And you're like,
yes.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
But
it's pervasive. I mean, it's on underpasses and stuff. I mean, that stuff is out there.
And you know, like the lack of aggressive reporting and interest publicly in the news means one of two things. There's nothing there, or there is something really big there.
Tell me about it.
And I don't know which. I mean, we know what we know.
Well, I've always erred on the side with that one. Whenever you're talking about people of tremendous wealth and power being caught in a web of possible pedophilia, you're like, you know what? There might be more to that onion that they're not peeling back.
Fox News reports today that a federal judge in New York has ordered the unsealing of dozens of documents naming people linked to the disgraced financier and sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. The documents are expected to identify more than 180 people, which include associates, victims, investigators, and journalists who covered the case. Some of the names will remain under seal, including those belonging to minor victims who never spoke publicly about the case, and a person who the judge said was wrongfully identified as an alleged perpetrator by a reporter. At least one person asked the court not to release her name, arguing that it could put her at risk of physical harm. U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska outlined the reasoning in a 51-page order on Monday. The order comes as part of a 2015 lawsuit between Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre, is that how you say it? Jeffrey? Maybe, I don't know. And his former lover and accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. The case was settled in 2017, but the judge indicated in hearings in 21 and 22 that the names would not remain sealed indefinitely. I don't know how to say her name. Virginia Jeffrey, I don't know. Giuffre.
No, I know who you're talking about. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Has alleged that Epstein and Maxwell trafficked her when she was 17 years old. She's now in her 30s. Some of the names have been withheld in some documents, but belong to people who have either spoken publicly about their connections to Epstein, have already been identified in other court documents, or were identified in Maxwell's trial. I mean, let's have it.
Yeah, and why is it taking this long? That's very disappointing. However, it's good that it's coming out. Everybody who pays attention to any of this stuff is going to be waiting with bated breath to see the list of the names. But I caution that it's going to take a while again. It's going to take a while before this becomes mainstream.
Who do we trust to cover it?
Well, I think it's coming from the judge in this instance. So
Yeah, but it's going to have to be covered. I mean, people are going to have to report on it. And I ask the question because I do not know the answer. If your name is included in whatever is to be revealed, does that automatically indicate that you did something wrong? Is it possible, again, asking questions that I don't have the answers to. I'm not protecting anybody. I don't even know who I would be protecting. Is it possible that your name could be associated with any part of this with Jeffrey Epstein and you not have done anything that is illegal or nefarious?
I think there is. And if there is that defense that, hey, this doesn't necessarily prove guilt of anything, we will hear that repeated a lot by mainstream sources.
You know, it's interesting, too.
If they covered it all.
Because it seemed to me like Jeffrey Epstein was very interested in getting into the circles of the very rich and the very powerful, and he wanted to be in those circles. But I don't think that his lead pitch was, hey, do you want to come down to my island where there's a bunch of underage girls? So I could see a scenario where there are people out there where he was trying to get to that he's like, nah, this isn't the one.
No, it's very possible.
So he's making the schmooze pitch, letting them fly on the plane and stuff like that, but they don't actually go to the island. You know, he gives them a flight from, say, New York to Los Angeles or whatever, or, you know, as a gift or as a friend or whatever. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they were involved in that stuff. However, the more times your name appears on those things, the more suspicious it becomes. Just my thought on that.
Trump's name is associated with it. Is he invested in making things public? I mean, we've heard about the Kennedy files and the interest in releasing those. I think Trump said that he was going to do that, and he didn't. I'm always curious. What did you learn that made you not find the time to do said thing?
That's a good question. I don't know. But this is a big one. And you know what? It almost doesn't surprise me that they've decided to release it a few days before Christmas, because it's like almost the holiday equivalent of a Friday evening news dump. You know, hey, we'll put this out there when people aren't maybe thinking politically quite as much for this short period of time. Usually that's a weekend. It doesn't surprise me that this is coming out, but it's coming out now.
I don't know when the official release is going to happen, but it seems to be imminent. Fox News also reports there's still an ongoing fight to release the names of Epstein's clients and people who traveled on his private jet, which came to a head in Congress last week when Republicans in the House and Senate accused Democrats of stonewalling their request for those documents. It's one of those things. I ask myself if I am doing an injustice by not covering it more, but I don't know what there is to cover, and it is very difficult. I will, if you're a regular listener of the show, you probably know this by now. There are times where there will be the rumblings of a very big story that is probably about to break, and I don't like to report on rumblings. I don't like to dive headfirst in predictive things of great consequence. I said at the beginning of the show that I think it's possible that RFK Jr. would be a smart political pick for Donald Trump as a VP. I think it would be a terrible addition to the ticket from where I stand. If Donald Trump gets the nomination, I'm voting for him. I think RFK Jr. would bring people who would not be inclined to vote for Donald Trump to vote for Donald Trump, to show up and vote for that ticket, which I think is where the political capital comes in. It's really just to get across the finish line on Election Day. But making a prediction about that, or just, you know, openly discussing the possibility of something like that in the future is very different than the implications of getting all. I don't want to get worked up. I'm not interested in the hyperbole behind what could be when we don't know what actually is, especially when it centers around Donald Trump, because you and I have been manipulated and lied to for so long. for the entirety of Donald Trump's political career to make sure that we have a predicate of disdain for a man that you are supposed to not dislike as a political figure. You're supposed to hate him. You're supposed to despise that man. It's amazing to me to see what other politicians in Washington, D.C. can get away with as far as name calling. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, you want to talk about nasty. Like, she fights and fights dirty, and she's very good at it. Politically, incredibly efficient and influential. And if she takes on the same tactics that Donald Trump would take on, she's lauded for it from the left. And if you are watching it, if you're watching Donald Trump, when Donald Trump willfully meets the left on the turf that they generally fight on in political battles, I'm not talking about policy, I'm not talking about in Congress, I'm talking about in campaigns and in rhetoric. Donald Trump's like, where do you want to go? We'll go where you set the location, you set the terms, and I'll fight you and I'll beat you on your terms. And it's very unsavory, but he has been effective in the past doing so. That's how he won the first time. I don't feel like 2018 was a huge grand slam. 2020 was certainly not a grand slam, and 2022 was a letdown. Does that Donald Trump way of winning, is that still effective? I don't know. I have my worries about it, and I say that out loud and people get upset with me. It doesn't mean I don't support him. But we see people lie to us all the time because there is an inkling of a story, there is a paper, a page in a chapter in a book of a story that they take out of context, and then they thrust it in front, and then they all get in lockstep and they all repeat the same talking points on this particular issue to shape the way we view something right before truth comes out about it. And then you got to convince people of something that never was true. And when you have a predetermined idea of who this man is, Donald Trump, or anybody else for that matter, you may not be convinced. The great irony of all of that is that's what Donald Trump has done to Ron DeSantis. He will fight you on your terms, on your turf, and he will try to win. I would like to see, if he's going to take that avenue, I would like to see him win. And in the meantime, while we wait for stories like what I assume is a gigantic story with whatever's going on with Jeffrey Epstein, it just is back burner because nobody's pushing that ball down the field. And it's just kind of shocking.
Yeah, it's. I think this story is maybe one of, if not the best example I've ever seen of powerful people being able to control the narrative, control information, control who gets it and who doesn't. Because, man, this thing, though they couldn't stop it from happening entirely, I mean, they still put Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein in prison. But they have basically quarantined it completely to this point. And the fact that this is coming out, to me, is a testament that the American system still does work. Because while it's taken a long time, the power is spread out enough that this judge, he may not have been the first choice or whatever, but this judge finally did require legally that this was going to come out. And here it will be. Now, what happens from here, we'll see.
Yeah. Did you mean to rhyme?
I did. Yeah, I'm that good. And speaking of good, I wanted to say something about that I should do.
Man, don't quit your day job. Oh, wait, this is your day job.
Yeah, this is what I do for a living. It's problematic.
Oh, man.
Let's take a quick break.
It's the Tuesday before Christmas, Annie.
It is. I know. That means you still have work to do.
That's true.
You're not done yet.
It's true. It's a busy week.
Is everybody checked out now?
I think this week has been the beginning of everybody putting their feet up on the desk.
Do I get to do that?
You can. You got to drag the mic a little further, though. See if you can do it. I'd love to hear this next segment done.
I'm going to do it right here, and I'm not facing any of you. I'm just going to watch Mark McCallum and Senator Thune on Fox News. We'll be right back.
You so dope, don't overdose. I'm so stoked. I need a toast.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I will call away whenever you need me. Yeah, I'm on the G side. Come to the A side.
It's football season, and the NFL is in full effect on the free Odyssey app. We're heading into the final stretch of the regular season, and the playoff picture is starting to come into focus. Whatever team you're rooting for, the free Odyssey app has you covered with the local talk and your team's podcasts. Plus, listen to play-by-play of every Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night game from Westwood One. If you're looking for the NFL, it's all on the free Odyssey app. Download it today and search for your favorite team. That's AUDACY.
Learn to make money 5 ways with rental real estate. Double your money with apartments. And get your map to financial freedom. And that map starts with a free workshop. Sign up now at lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the Join Free Workshop tab and attend online or in person. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. Lifestylesunlimited.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimited.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential.
The IRS definitely ramped up operations since the pandemic slowed them down, and activity only increases from here. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. If you're currently under audit or you haven't paid your taxes in the past, now's the time to call the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS has a published Taxpayer Bill of Rights, which says you have the right to retain legal representation. Because IRS problems are legal problems, and the Lance Story Law Firm focuses specifically on addressing IRS issues for our clients. It's all we do. We get out in front of the IRS, devise the best resolution plan, and work to make sure you're able to take advantage of every program you're qualified to receive. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure company, call the Lance Story Law Firm. We're local, located right here in St. Louis, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
There's no gift that's more beautiful, more versatile, and more meaningful than a beautiful piece of jewelry. And there's no better place to shop than Diamonds Direct, where making memorable moments is our specialty. Last minute shopper? Relax. This holiday season, we put together our most impressive selection of can't-miss gifts you can get today. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands for every taste and every price range. And don't miss our amazing collection of Swiss timepieces, including pre-owned Rolex watches you can't find anywhere else. Need more inspiration? Check out our online gift guide and even chat with a virtual assistant at diamondsdirect.com. Ask about flexible financing options as well. Connect with Diamonds Direct and let us help you choose that perfect headliner gift at the absolute best value price. Get all the details, special showroom hours, and lots of ideas now at diamondsdirect.com. At Olive and 270, official partner of the St. Louis Blues and proud to call the Gateway City home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsLHonorFlight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
We've gone out a few times. You ready to put a ring on it? Download the Odyssey app and listen to 97.1 FM Talk on your phone or by telling your smart speaker to play it. This is St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you.
You're listening to the Annie
Santa
Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake, he knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Alan Jackson, man. I love Alan Jackson. So great. Saw him in concert when he was at Chaffetz Arena a while back. And I had some drinks that night. And I drank sitting down. And I drank too much that night. And it's so weird because there are a couple times in my life, I'm not a big drinker. If I do indulge, I don't ever do it with the intention of drinking too much. But when I hear Alan Jackson, I always want to apologize to him. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't think I did anything wrong, but I just had an extra drink or two. And it was a great concert.
He represents an era of country music to me that doesn't exist anymore.
Great 90s country.
90s. And for some reason, I thought he was a lot older than he is, but I just looked him up. He's only 65. I thought he was well older than that. I guess I wasn't really a 90s country guy, though, so I don't know.
You guys are about the same age. Did you graduate the same year?
Let me ask him when I talk to him next.
Will you forward my apology?
I will not. No, that was my next thing, is that I will not forward any messages from you to him, though, when I talk to him personally.
Did you have a story?
Yeah, you want to talk about that? Yeah, sure.
Well, we set that up off the air.
10 Christmas gift ideas that
No, I don't
want.
want to. No, I don't want to talk about it.
No?
No.
10 Christmas gift ideas for your coworkers, Annie.
Okay.
So these might be things that you would consider if you can't find my Heelys.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, personalized office
Is
mug
this your
or
wish
flask.
list?
No.
Is this a story? Or did you just write down things you want?
If your coworkers mean a lot to you and you think, man, I really need to show them how much they mean to me, this is what Forbes says that you should get for them. Personalized office mug or flask.
Personalized office mug or flask?
Or flask.
Flask?
Yeah.
Man, these people are from radio.
I know. I was a little surprised that people got each other flasks. That seemed like a bachelor party thing.
Yeah, and you get one for a bachelor party. You don't need multiple.
No, you don't need a lot of flasks unless you are an alcoholic.
You don't need a flask.
That's very true.
Is that something that, real question here. My husband has a flask. It's been used before. But is that something that seems very like 1920s?
It's novelty. There's no real need for a flask, is there?
Was there a need in the 20s that there isn't in these 20s?
I think so. Yeah, I think that it was that you could hide alcohol easier and move around with it easier. Whereas now...
Why would you need to hide it?
Because of prohibition.
Well, not only prohibition, but also just the social stigma.
Not in the 20s.
Whenever prohibition happened.
Oh.
I think even there would have been a social stigma to walking around with alcohol, that a gentleman would keep it in his coat pocket.
Yeah, but if gentlemen all have flasks and it's ungentlemanly to be boozing all the time.
It's ungentlemanly to drink it out of a brown paper bag.
Yes. Yeah. I think it was the gentlemanly
These
thing
are your
to do.
only options.
And this is the way I understand
if
it.
you're going to booze in public, at least have a little class about you.
That you'd pull it out of your, even in the 60s, I would see this in the cool 60s movies. They'd pull it out of their coat pocket. They'd have a little something on the rocks. They'd pour it out of their coat and they'd put it right back in there. It was like it was not okay to have alcohol out. I don't know why, but that's what it seemed like it was. So you get a personalized mug or flask as a good gift idea. I'm just surprised that made the office good idea. The next one is motivational quote cards. Inspire positivity, a growth mindset, and well-being in your team members.
Take back what I got you and get you these things.
Through gifting them positive self-affirmation
I'm
cards.
going to get Ryan a flask for his milk.
And they... Oh my gosh!
with
yes,
with a nipple on it.
No, that's silly. And I'm not a baby.
That's ridiculous.
I'm not some
I took
dumb
it too
baby.
far.
Yeah.
I love milk in a flask idea though.
Oh, that's so gross.
If you could come up with some idea how to keep the milk cold.
I was gonna say you have to keep it up against your body. And
Yeah,
get
I don't know if I love
and...
that, but some way to carry
You
milk
don't
around.
know if you love that?
Well, I do love it.
There's a part of it that he does love.
Because it's not socially acceptable now to be a grown man carrying around milk.
I love the fact that you are considering the thought of sitting in your office with a flask that you're going to be taking hits off the flask, and you're going to get reported to HR, and you're going to have to tell them it's milk.
You know what? I would get less weird stares if people thought I was drinking alcohol at my desk.
I know that.
Than milk.
That's my point. You're going to have a different type of counseling after you reveal that it is, in fact, milk.
What about... They sent me to counseling. Sir, you were drinking milk at your desk, right? Yeah, that's fine. No.
Out of a flask.
I was hiding it because of this stupid meeting we're having right now.
Milk flask.
What do you think about motivational quote cards?
Not really a motivational quote kind of gal.
Positive self-affirmation cards that you can prop up on your desk and read while you work. This is for real.
Let's talk about affirmations for a minute. You go first.
I hate them.
Why?
Because it's the lamest thing. Because it's all about you. It's all about you. It's such a self-centered way of approaching life. I can't. Just do the thing. You don't need to wake up in the morning like Stuart Smalley and be like, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. No!
They were for Michael Jordan.
I hate it. Oh, yeah. That clip was amazing, by the way.
He couldn't get through it.
But I hate it. I hate this whole self-affirmation thing.
Ryan, you strike me as an affirmation guy.
I have a poster on my ceiling above my bed that the first thing I wake up to in the morning is a cat hanging by one little paw. And it says, hang in there. And so I do. I get up and I go, yeah.
He sits up and there's a frog choking a stork and it's like, never give up.
I don't know about that one, but the kitty paw one is my jam. And that's how I come in every day. I'm just kind of hanging in there.
After a lazy night of sleeping.
This is another boring night. Hang in there.
No. There's also mirrors on the ceiling.
Ew.
Next one. Tech accessories. Particularly if your team member works from home or all the time or most of the time, you might want to consider buying them a tech accessory.
Here's a USB jump drive. Hope it's helpful.
To make it easier for them to concentrate on their work and be more productive. For example, you could gift noise-canceling headphones, an ergonomic hand rest, an external mouse to use with their laptop, or even a desk treadmill. Seems like that's quite a wide gamut of gifts.
Also, you did a story earlier that's like, don't give people diet and exercise gifts. Hey, I know you were working from home a lot. Here's a treadmill.
Maybe you could do this while you're working on your spreadsheets.
This is not a good idea.
Yeah, and here's a self-help book that says how to overcome being dumb. Take that the right way, please. Stylish desk organizer. An organizer can help set your team members, help them to remove the clutter and maintain peace of mind, especially if they're working from home in a less than ideal space. These are great. What about...
Do you remember when you found the power? Didn't you teach Ryan how to like power his computer or something like that?
The power cable?
Yeah, you didn't.
I don't remember this.
You didn't know that your laptop was portable or...
Please remind me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember it.
Because you hook your laptop into a dock, and that's where you get the charging. And I was like, you can just get like a charging cable.
Oh, yeah, because it has phantom power when I'm here, right?
Well, it hooks it when you hook it into the dock. It's all powered through that one connection.
Yeah. Maybe you should have gotten me a tech accessory.
Yeah. Here's a charging cable for your laptop.
How about, seriously, consider these. Edible festive treats. So you probably haven't thought about the fact that you could get somebody something to eat.
I still have the poop meat in my house.
Oh, do you really?
Yes.
Has it
What do you think I was
started to
do
turn?
with it?
Does it look different?
No, I think it'll look the way it was when you gave it to me.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Ryan gave me a dinner in the form of chocolate, and there is a steak that is in the form of chocolate, and it does not look like steak.
It's like a whole Stouffer's individual meal that looks like it came out of the microwave, but it's all chocolate. So there's a chocolate broccoli and some chocolate strawberries, but none of them are what they are. They just look chocolate, right? Because the steak is what looks like poop.
It does.
But it's made of chocolate.
I think. I've never tasted it.
You should try it this year.
It looks also like a crayon.
It does look like you could draw with it.
Yeah.
Experience gifts.
Maybe.
For your coworkers. Tickets to a show, museum, resort, spa day, dance class, cooking class, or other experiences.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good gift.
I do too. I think this is one of the better ones.
You got to know the person enough, though. If you're just like giving a coworker something that you would enjoy, you got to make sure that they would enjoy it.
Yeah, if somebody like Brad said, "Here, Ryan, I got you a cooking class."
Mm-hmm. But you've told us you aren't good at it.
Well, that's true, but it's because I don't like doing it.
This is in the same vein of here's a treadmill.
However, if you got me a dance class, I would go in day one in full leotard and be like, let's go.
Yeah.
Gift cards are on the list. Here, this one's kind of on the bad gifts, but they said, no, this is a good idea. A fitness app or a fitness gadget. For your more health-conscious coworkers, a year-long subscription to a fitness tracking app, home workouts app, or a fitness wearing gadget.
You got to know that they use it, and you can't introduce them to it.
This seems like something that you wouldn't get a coworker.
Mm-hmm. It's a friend who maybe you work with, but it's got to go beyond.
Yeah, like you have to know this person pretty darn well to know that they were A, interested in this, and B, not already getting it themselves, which I guess you could be that close with a friend at work. Last one on the list is notebooks and journals. A sleek or sophisticated notebook is a fantastic and inexpensive gift idea for your coworkers.
What I think you should do is jot down your feelings.
I like the idea of a notebook.
Just get him a notebook with a kitten on the front. It's just hanging on by one paw. It says hang in there.
Mm-hmm. With mirrors on it.
This goes back to the original poll question that we asked a few weeks ago. Gift cards are a good gift, especially from a coworker.
I think that my determination was yes.
Isn't it, if gift cards have a place in the gift-giving landscape, don't you think that coworkers is probably where it's best?
Yes. That's the best. Yeah. Yeah, of anybody that you're going to give a gift card to, that would be the best category of person.
Because the coworker gift is one that is mostly centered on, I like working with you. I appreciate what you do to help me do my job, and I like working with you. Here's a gift. Because you don't give every single person you work with probably a gift, unless you own a business or something like that. But if you know somebody more personally than work-related, you're going to want to do something beyond a gift card, unless the gift card is something specific for a purpose that is understood when that gift card is given. But I think that a gift card for coworkers is potentially the best gift that you can give or get.
I think that's possible. I will say that I am very excited about the gifts that I got for you two. I think I've got a good one for Leah, but I will see about that one. I know the one I got for you is awesome.
Am I going to like it?
Yes.
I'm really going to like it?
You really are.
Well, that's kind of fun.
I know. I got it almost 7 months ago.
Are you as excited about giving me that gift as you were the Obama t-shirt from China or wherever it was?
Now I'm more excited about this one.
That makes me more excited about it. All right. Sorry, Alan Jackson. We'll be right back.
Better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
We're coming up on Christmas very quickly here. Christmas has been and always has been a religious holiday for a lot of people throughout the world. And if not religious, just a celebration for family and friends. It's also the time of year where, while you might be enjoying or you like the holidays, there's people that are suffering, which this time of year is a really, really hard time of year for them. There's people that are suffering this Christmas because this could be their first Christmas without their loved one, husband, wife, mother, father, child, or their second, third, fourth, 10th, 12th Christmas. So for every one of us that believe in God, and we do pray, remember that in your prayers daily, and hopefully that helps and makes a difference and makes it a little bit better in somebody's life that is suffering right now. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. God bless.
Listen, it's no secret most real estate agents make big promises and oftentimes end up selling their clients' homes for less than what they may have been led to believe. This is not the case for my friend and trusted agent, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. Mark Cox here. Gloria doesn't make promises she can't keep. She makes guarantees in writing. Here's the truth. Right now, agents know that some customers will choose the agent that tells them the highest price. Talk about a stressful way to sell a home. Gloria makes it really simple by providing an upfront written guaranteed price. And if your home sells for less than the guaranteed price, she will pay you the difference. Gloria takes all the risk off the table for a home seller who's trying to get the most amount of money for their home. Get your guaranteed price right now. Call Gloria Lou at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The people have spoken. I want to thank you, St. Louis, for voting Onder Law 2023's best St. Louis law firm.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
How would you like to make no mortgage payments for 2 months? Are you tired of making minimum payments on high-interest credit cards? Is student loan repayment giving you the blues? Your home equity is at an all-time high. Use that equity to save hundreds every month. Call 314-567-GOLD now and give yourself a payment break. That's 314-567-GOLD. Or visit goldenoaklending.com. NMLS 114937.
Today's Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll: what grade do you give 2023? A B or a C, a D, or an F? The criteria is up to you. We just want to know what the grade is and leave a comment as to why. It is 2:43. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon getting set to go here for a Tuesday afternoon edition and a stunning new report about how public schools in this country fuel anti-Semitism. We'll get into it here at the start of the hour.
Seems I've got to have a chance to see him. Every night I have the strangest dream. Imprisoned by the way I could have been left here on my own arm. So it seems I've got to leave before I start to scream. For someone at the door and
Those who are optimistic now and for the future, just 15% now. And for the year, now, by the way, this is up a little bit on the quarter, but this is the year for the average. 66% being pessimistic now and for the future is a record high in the 17 years we've been doing this.
66% are pessimistic right now with their confidence in America. That's according to CNBC, their poll that they were delivering right there. Our YouTube live chat poll for today is: what grade do you give 2023? And you can go A, B/C, D, or F. It's hard to look ahead at 2024 and not feel like there's an obvious effect to the cause that was 2023, where people are right now. 66% of Americans say they're pessimistic now and for the future of the economy. A high in 17-year history of the survey. That's pretty dramatic. But if we're sitting here in 2024 on December 19th and Joe Biden has somehow won re-election, is that something that will be shocking?
Yeah, yes, it will, because of what you said a few days ago that I've been thinking about a lot. What is Joe Biden promising for the next 4 years? I've never heard anybody really say it that bluntly. And once you did, I had to answer, I have no idea. I don't know that he's even trying to paint a picture of what his next administration would look like, which is amazing because you're the current president running for president. That is the only thing you should be doing, and they're not doing it at all.
I also think that you can sum all of that up in Joe Biden's own words, where he said that he doesn't know that he'd be running if Donald Trump wasn't the guy on the other side. Because the Joe Biden campaign, and it's probably enough, the Joe Biden campaign is, I'm not Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. I still will be shocked if that message carries the day. That is such a hopeless message that offers no optimism,
66%,
no plan.
17-year high, pessimistic about the future. That tracks.
Yes, it does. When you when the conditions are what they are, and you have a complicit media that's willing to spin anything for you, and even they can't figure out how to spin it. There's just no getting around it, because messaging can go a long way. It can go a long way to making people feel good about a situation that may not be that good. It can. And they still can't quite figure out how to do it. I think that poll is showing that feeling.
I think what you're missing here, Ryan, is that the strategy isn't to get Joe Biden to win. It's to keep Trump from winning, to force Trump to lose. That's the strategy. So they haven't spent a whole lot of time painting what the Biden administration is going to look like in the next 4 years, because they've been spending all their time painting a horror story of what they think or what they say it's going to look like under a Donald Trump. They want the pessimism that you're seeing on there because that allows them to win. That poll there shows that their messaging is winning because people aren't confident, and they're not confident because it's Joe Biden's doing such a bad job. They're not confident because they don't think that they have a real choice in the next election. They look at it and they say, man, Joe Biden has done such a terrible job, but Donald Trump's a literal threat to democracy, because that's the message they've been force-fed for, we're going on almost 8 years now. I mean, it was the message during Trump's presidency. It's the message after Trump's presidency. It's the message during Joe Biden thing. It's not about Joe Biden being good. It's orange man bad. And it's starting to work. And it's how you wear a people down.
Listen to the former Obama press secretary, Robert Gibbs, and his advice.
I think President Biden is in the situation, in the political situation that he's in right now, for a whole lot of reasons, but most predominantly, I think people are still feeling the pinch of inflation, even as those numbers have come down. I think this back and forth between these two statements is exactly what you see Biden needing and wanting to do, quite frankly, in engaging that rhetoric of Trump and beginning to force this choice so that people can see not just a president in a country struggling with inflation, but what that alternative is.
You know, listening to his words there, saying that the president needs to pivot to Trump's rhetoric and remove people from focusing in on that the country is struggling with inflation. That's what we're talking about right now. But the default is you just assume, you know already, that Biden's position is that he's the anti-Trump and he is the antidote to Trump. That is the position that he enters the conversation with, and he doesn't have to even say anything in order to make that be known. Now, what Gibbs is saying there is that he needs to lean into that. I don't think that Biden is capable of it. And I think that every time they put him in front of a camera and a microphone, they're taking a risk. And with the world on the brink of being on fire in so many different regions, the stakes are really high for Joe Biden to go out and look inept or not capable. I think that there are people in the world who are absolutely taking advantage of America right now because of his inability to effectively lead. There's a difference between being able to call the shots with the advice of people around you. I would hope to high heaven that every single person who serves in the office of the president surrounds themselves with the smartest people they know who will disagree on avenues to take, so that you sit and you listen to what experts have to say, and then you have the wisdom to hear and then act based on sourcing information from people, because you certainly don't walk into that office knowing everything. So the idea that President Biden would ask President Obama, what would you do? That makes sense. I understand that. There are presidents who have always reached across the aisle to talk to their predecessors, be it Republican or Democrat, for presidential advice, something that very few people in our country have ever experienced the responsibility of being the president of the United States. So you lean on that, what is right now a fraternity of individuals who can provide some sort of perspective that maybe policy-wise would be different, but just knowing what the pressure of that moment is. So I don't begrudge Joe Biden for leaning on these people who I wouldn't want to be advising policy, but you understand that he's, of course, going to do that with the people who he trusts, who have gone before him and who are on the same side of the aisle as he is. That's in a closed-door meeting, in the Situation Room, around a boardroom table, making decisions about things, ironing out policy, and so on and so forth. You put him in on behind a microphone and in front of a camera, and he's on his own, you do not know what's going to happen. You can't clean up on aisle 6. You will get what you get. He will shuffle out of the room, and he will look over his shoulder, listen to somebody ask a question, ramble something off, potentially insult the reporter if it's one that he doesn't like, and then he leaves the room. I mean, he does the same thing every time. So I don't really know. I mean, the question, I guess, is it enough to not be Donald Trump? And the actual answer to that is a little frightening because it might be.
If the last 3 years had been average and not with this economy and with the world events happening, I think it might be enough to beat Donald Trump just because people have their preconceived notions of Trump. But after going through 4 years of a presidency with one man, from 2016 to 2020 and then 2020 to 2024 with the other, and seeing the stark difference, it's almost as if you don't need to campaign. You have two guys who are going to be running on record, and one looks a whole lot better than the other. Even if people don't like him, they're going to remember because this is not that long ago.
Lionheart says on our YouTube, JB didn't campaign the first time around, and he still won. That's true.
Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, that's true. But at that time, he had a message. I'm not Donald Trump, and I will bring the adults back into the room and get back to normalcy. Well, that didn't happen.
That's still his message,
It's still his message, but it didn't happen. And everybody can see that it didn't happen. So it's a very different message this time.
But I think that's where your presumption is. I think that you're presuming that everybody can see that that didn't happen.
Well, all we're doing right now is presuming because we're talking about future events. So it's all guesswork. But that is, I think, a very, very strong message that Trump has, that he doesn't really have to do a lot. He could go out there and just say over and over, look at what I did, look at what he did.
Well, that's what he needs to do, and he needs to focus on that message.
Well, we're going to continue to cover it, of course. There's going to be lots to cover in the next year. And as we move towards 2024, once we get to that 2024 date, I think it's going to become very real very fast. Voting in Iowa will be taking place. And there's an immense amount of news to be made, and specifically from the only place that Republicans hold the majority, which is the House of Representatives. It's a very, very small majority, but a majority nonetheless. Wednesday, 12:45 on the Annie Frey Show, we are going to have Speaker Mike Johnson on our show, and we're going to talk to him along with Congressman Mike Bost. Very excited to have him join us, and we're going to talk about impeachment inquiry. We're going to talk to him about border security. We're going to talk to him about fundraising for Republicans to actually invest in what we could, dare I say, maybe get a red wave. We're primed for it. We need to see people who can deliver. And so the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, will be with us on the Annie Frey Show at 12:45 tomorrow. Very excited for that opportunity.
The Speaker of the House on the Annie Frey Show.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We shouldn't tell him that the last one that came on didn't last very long.
Don't say that.
I was going to say for the second time this year.
Yeah. We did 2 speakers on the Annie Frey Show this year, and that says something in and of itself.
It's first time for everything and a last.
Yeah. Let's get to the results of the YouTube live chat poll for today. What grade do you give 2023? Ryan, you said?
A, for me, personally.
Brad?
B. So B/C.
I gave it an A on virtue of being healthy and wholesome throughout the course of this year. RSG said F for FJB. Okay, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Erica said, I gave 2023 a solid C. It's not been great or horrible. I do, however, have a feeling that 2024 is going to be a very, very tough year. It will be a tough year, but we will manage to get through it all together right here on 97.1 FM Talk. This is going to be your home and destination for everything that you need to know, for the entertainment that you crave when you can't grip the steering wheel even harder. We want to be there with you. The results of the poll today, 7% of you gave it an A, 21% F, 32% B/C, 41% D. Let's do better next year. Stick around. Mark Reardon up next.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands. at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Mark Cox here. I've got an idea. Let's all go to Italy next spring. I'm going to the Amalfi Coast next spring with my friends of conservativetours.com, and you can go along as well. We'll cover Rome, the Amalfi Coast, Puglia, the Isle of Capri, the Abbey of Monte Cassino. It may be one of Italy's best kept secrets. You know, I've been to the Amalfi Coast before. It is without a doubt one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. While you're there, you can take a high-speed jet foil over to the Isle of Capri, which is a site that everyone needs to see. Positano is absolutely beautiful. Sorrento is just gorgeous. You'll get to visit the ruins of Pompeii as one of your side trips if you go on this trip. It's $53.67 a person. That includes your airfare from St. Louis. Call them toll-free at 888-733-9494. It's 888-733-9494 or conservativetours.com.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation.